that are represented very well. Let's talk about Sentinels to start us off. And I got to say, Sentinels for me, is a team that's incredibly exciting. When they were first formed, they had the most hype around them, I think, out of any other team, at least during its time. But they didn't perform well. They were a bit lackluster, but over time they have been improving quite a bit. I think right now they're one of the top teams in the game. But Simo, we'll start off with you. What are you thinking about Sentinels?
I have to really pinpoint exactly what you said. A little lackluster. When they first came out the gate, it really wasn't anything special. But now that they've started to figure out what is their meta, how do they like to play the specific maps that they are comfortable playing, and we're seeing some of these wacky adaptations, specifically from Sinatra. I mean, he seems to be the guy that is bringing in some of these fresh and new ideas. And, I also kind of expected we might see some Odin spam and ranked play now, people picking it up probably a little bit more, being a little bit more flexible with their weapon purchases. But again, this is, like you said, a fresh and exciting team just based off of how they play and the types of strategies that they execute.
Yeah, and of course, Sentinels, a fantastic team. On top of that, too, Immortals, right? Immortals is coming through. They're going to be doing their best to shut Sentinels down. This is a best of 3, but it's single elimination, and Immortals is ready to go at the throat of Sentinels. Of course, Vincili, walk me through this team.
Yeah, that's right. Immortals, for me, are a team that usually struggles in the BO1 groups, and thankfully, it was in a group that they might still have had a better chance to come out of it, so this is why we see them in the best out of 3 in the quarterfinals. So they still have a good chance here against Sentinels. I think with the lineup that they have a lot of young fraggers, too, with Asuna and Gangsta, even Bjor. Even Brady, I think, is also known as Thief as the alias going into game. He's a recent addition that they're trying out to Immortals as well, while they had JC Stanley kind of sit out for the roster. The thing that's difficult is what kind of Immortals show up, because not only JC Stanley sits down, he was also the in-game leader for the team. So you're looking at this roster now. Kohler is calling 50% of the time, but it was telling me that the other guys in the team kind of put their own input for the other 50%. So when you talk about synergy, for sure, all 5 of them are going to talk a lot, but I think at the same time, it adds a lot of confusion maybe sometimes in terms of communication and how you want to execute. So hopefully that's not going to be too much of a hindrance versus Sentinels in this matchup, in this best out of 3, but I still expect a good best out of 3, even due to the fact that Sentinels, again, yesterday got upset by T1 Academy. So which kind of Sentinels is going to show up as well? Is it going to be the one that lost in T1 Academy, or the one that spanked Together We're Terrific like 13-4?
Okay, but to be fair, it was a 13-12, and it wasn't like the scoreline was 13-2. Oh my goodness, T1 Academy out of nowhere! Like, it was pretty competitive, man. It was close. Okay,
that's true. That's true.
And this game is all about play styles as well. So some, it feels in some cases rock paper scissors. One team beats another, and then the other, and then the other. So we'll have to see it, but I do think that you're right. The first map, of course, will be Ascent, and we are moments away from that. As the agent selection is being locked in.
Yeah, Ascent's going to be an interesting one. I love the fact that they're starting off with Ascent, given the fact that during the T1 Ignition tournament, these two teams did run into each other, and they did play on Ascent. It ended up being 13-12, and that was in favor of Immortals. They ended up taking over that victory. So that's not a stopping, right? That is just neck and neck, which means this could go the distance, and it's going to be a fun one regardless. But I know the match is about to get started. The chat is ready to go. So, boys, take it away.
Are you sure?
The chat's ready.
Are you sure?
So they're definitely ready. I'm looking at the chat. It's bleeding red all over here for the Sentinel, Simo. So in your case, do you think Sentinel is going to take this best out of 3, or is it going to be Immortals getting the upset in the best out of 3? At least for me, I'm calling this an upset if they're able to beat Sentinel.
Well, quite honestly, it's going to be up to, I was going to say, the agent selection. I feel like Ascent is a map where operators can come into play, and they can be quite handy. And so the amount of flashes that you bring to the table can really level up the experience that you have as a team. And for the side of the Sentinels, they're starting us off on attack, and already Shazam locking in that breach tells me, okay, they've at least got one flash. They've got the paranoia from Omen, so one more flash than their opposition on Immortals. But we are seeing 2 Sages, used to seeing a very Sageless composition across multiple teams on Ascent, so we'll see how that pays off.
Yeah, and the good thing here is that they're still using a double smoke agent composition here for the defenders, at least, to start things off. But Sinatra and company, I was talking about Immortals at that point, but Sinatra and company now, as the Sentinels on the attack, are starting things off here with an Owl Drone to scout out towards this A side, but not walking through yet to try to break this trap wire.
Yeah, sending out a couple of feelers early, but you know, we saw at the T1 showdown, T1 rather, just hit A every single round, and TSM could not really do anything to stop it. We'll see if that's going to be the case. Polar already with the frag to take out some of that pushing power coming in from the Sentinels. That's going to be 2 down now as Thief takes out Sinatra, but they're still going to be looking to push in.
That's right, so Sick is now trying to move inside too, but Kohler's gonna get that first kill, and that third one, rather, into this A site. Paranoia to come out too, Dapper is swinging out of it. That's a 4K coming in from Kohler, and that is a great way to start the best out of 3 with a flawless victory here.
Yeah, you know, it has to feel good when you don't really even lose a single member. They can carry their pistols into the round ahead. And, you know, in some cases I've seen, especially this is the one where you lock up on SMGs and heavy armor. I've actually seen some adaptations where they'll just stick with the Ghost and they won't really need to buy anything new. I think we saw that out of Gangsta, still holding on to that Ghost. So interesting to see their adaptations when it comes to the economy and how they keep things going. But it is already Sentinels looking for a different site this time around.
That's right, so we're looking at the chat here asking who chose Ascent at this point. It is Sentinels that picked it first, and then if it goes to a second map, of course it will go to a second map. It is Immortals pick and bind, and if it needs to go to a third, it will be on split. So this round now, you could see 4 players of the Sentinels walking up towards this mid because they want to split into B, but Sinatra's already down to 13 HP, so that's going to be the heal wasted early on that Sage. They're moving inside right now with the breach fault line towards this spawn side, but the crossbar is perfect for the Immortals.
Wow, Suna and Gangsta, they'll pair up here and find a couple of pairs of their own, all down to Dapper now. Trying to use the classic, but to no avail. Almost felt like, you know, a flawless round, but look at those symbols on the ground. It's a graveyard, and the Sentinels are the ones that paid the price. Moving into the third round, of course, this is where the full buy comes in from the attack. But we've seen, and even from your own experience and from my experience, Ascent, a very defender, can be a very defender-sided map. So we'll see if that's going to end up being the case, or if it will be Sentinels kind of proving us wrong.
Yeah, when this map first came out, it was a lot about, oh, mid control, and then we're getting the split so that the attackers could take advantage of the sites and also get the rounds. But more and more, we're starting to see it lean towards the defender side, too. So now it's going to be the orb being contested by the attackers of the Sentinels for free, at least, as we have pretty much a very passive play here for the Immortals. Sorry, I said the Sentinels, right, are taking the orb. So it's very passive play here for the Immortals as they have the Omen playing all the way back here with Asuna, even with the Sova meeting up with him. So only a solo player inside B. The wall's going to go up early for Immortals as well. And looks like they are gambling for an eventual push from the Sentinels on this A side.
I also saw that Immortals were able to afford an op this time around, and that really probably was on the back of Gangsta not buying anything in that second round, wanted to be involved. And actually, it's Asuna that has the operator, so my apologies there. They still have an operator in play, which is quite the ticket there to be able to purchase on that third round, especially if you do end up deciding to buy some SMGs, and in this case, I don't think they did, of course, winning 2 rounds for them. But I had a look around mid, weren't really able to find anything that they could work with, and so now they'll just heavy push blind in towards A. In the tree room, it's Kohler with the Phantom. That's going to find one. Sinatra, though, will quickly answer there with the refrag as he's already made his way onto the site, but the spike's not there yet, and now Immortals, they got to retake the site.
Gangsta, as the Owl Drones are kissing each other, the wall bang coming through. Does it connect? Unfortunately not from either side. Gangster is still trying to rotate across now as he has truck starts moving inside the site, and they spot the Sage at least towards that front. They have important Paranoia ready if they want to as well, as they're moving now, as Sick is trying to hold it. He did get paranoid. He's hiding behind the boxes. We're close in for the Immortals as well, and the wall bang comes through from Kohler, so the headshot as Sick falls down. 2 more to go. Damage still alive with Sinatra, but just under a 4K coming through. Now it's a 1 versus 1. Sinatra here. Can he get the ace clutch? Recon Owl to come out. Now he spots him. He's straight through the boxes. He gets the frag onto Asuna, and the ace clutch coming in for the Sentinels.
You know, the Overwatch player of the year, massive player, of course, for the San Francisco Shock, coming in and saying, hello, how do you do, CS players? Takes all of them out in one fell sweep. really have to give kudos to Sinatra. And that also means some money goes in the bank to some charity, of course. That's an ace. Yep. That is an ace.
$30 now given to me, $30 by Reflections, and that's what, $40 now for Golden Boy? Good cause, guys, good cause. Bala, I think he said something. His name is Bala, but I think he's only giving like $2, but it's okay. Every dollar counts.
Now moving on to this round, of course, it is the attack that we're able to clean things up, and it does look like for Immortals, they have a couple of weapons in play. For Thief, that's a Phantom in hand, and they're looking for another A push, but this time they don't have anyone pushing in from Catwalk. The other two members still looking towards the Fish Market, and of course, middle control, that choke point still uncontested from Immortals. A lot of respect going over towards the attack, but that seems to be the name of the game on Ascent, playing really far back and giving the opportunity for the attack to maybe make the mistake if they push too far in. But our cover going to come out, and it's still Sentinels with 50 seconds left on the clock.
That's right, and you do have an operator in the hands of Shazam, known here as a big opper for CSGO in the past too, so is transferring that skill into this game. He was trying to pick towards his mid side first, but as he sees nothing, he's looking back for an aggressive peek towards the tree side without getting any opposition, but now Kohler gets walled actually, down to 26 HP. He's trying to smoke it out, but it's going to be too little too late. We're already executing inside the A site, a flashpoint to come through as well. Can we hold it for Thief? We cannot.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. He finds one with the Bulldog. Was looking for that weapon off to the side, but he's like, you know what? I can't risk it. Gangsta, he's going to find one with the Bulldog, and it's just pandemonium coming out from Immortals. They'll find 3. It's still up to 6, though. He's going to try to get those shots, and it'll be good. But Kohler from the side picks up an upgrade, and they'll get the defuse. Another round on the board here for Immortals, and they only lose 2, which I think is pretty interesting.
No, exactly, especially due to the fact that Kohler was kind of out of position. He had a molly in hand. He was trying to molly up towards that catwalk, and as soon as he peeked out, he saw Sick, but Sick only had a rifle. Thankfully, a shot rang through from Shazam, who was right next to him with the operator, but since Shazam was already out of position, only got the wall bang and couldn't secure the kill. So that gave a chance there for Kohler to fall back, get those smokes down, and try to run back and slow down the opposition long enough so that his teammates could come back to rotate. And thankfully as well, Thief, yes, he didn't hold it for that long, but at least he took down one down with him. So that's the important thing to do as an anchor. If you have to fall down, at least take one with you.
Smoke's going down, and for the side of the Sentinels, does not look like they have the weapons that they would like in play, as we hear a couple of those pistol shots ring out. Trying to get a couple of those feelers out, pre-firing around the corners where members usually peek, but considering it's pistols galore for the Sentinels, you can't really expect them to do a whole lot. So they might look to make this expensive. It is a 5-man push ready to funnel in through mid, and it's the Hunter's Fury here from Gangsta looking to try to clean things up for him quite easily. You will be able to find that last one. I really thought that Sinatra was going to be able to do the Matrix and bend over and dodge that one, but he'll fall, and it's still 4 strong here for the Sentinels.
Yeah, he bent all over all right, but that's to eat a Hunter's Fury arrow, unfortunately. So now they're still trying to take this mid control, though. Bure is still holding by the main market, so he is actually set up for a better angle if they try to check their 50s trying to move through. But the good thing here for the Immortals is that Sentinels are actually on a pistol save. So it's going to be Classics, Sheriffs, Ghosts trying to move forward. So having a solo hold in this area and losing him in this fight is okay, because I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to take down at least 2 with him. It's smoke towards the back, at least from the Omen. And here comes a few. That's the first. Here's the second. There's the third. There's the fourth. He's looking for a fake ace, and he's going to get it there onto Sinatra, as the res was wasted at that point too.
Okay. How many aces do you think we'll get in this match alone? It's a best of 3, and there's already been 2. We're not even at the second half yet, but what I have to say is they had a great crossfire setup, and to be quite honest, Sentinels did a great job of putting that dark cover in place. I mean, they had no idea to know, of course, there was going to be a crossfire. They at least blocked off one, but it is, of course, just going to be Bure who gets everything that he needs and finds all 5. I would have at least expected a trade, but great resilience for him on the trick.
Yeah, and again, I think it was a fake ace at that point. Yes, he's still got 5 kills, but since it's for a good cause with the United Way, I'll put another 10 into that. So we're at 45 here on that side. We'll see what the others, what they think. But this round, though, we're going to get a gun round coming through here for the Sentinels, and they have put a lot of opposition here towards this B side on that market, but one of them just rotated back. So it's kind of like a 3-on-2, but the Owl Drone at least came out. There's 2 players there. very nicely recon by Gangsta.
Yeah, great looking in as well, and great cover as well. If you know the opposition looked to try to take it out, he could just hover or go lower. He has a lot of options. He wanted to use them. Flash here from Shazam. Flashpoint not going to connect with anyone. We've seen him do it, you know, almost every single round. Just try to clear out the Kench bench and maybe closer towards Pizza, but no one's there, and no one from Immortals has played there. They're giving a lot more respect, and in some cases, it's actually worked out for them. We're seeing the red carpet here rolled out from Shazam, looking towards the A site. The rest of the members from Sentinels looking to push in, and little do they know, as soon as on the other side, he might be able to actually catch them out of position. That's going to be one, picks up the up, and he's got to back away. That's going to be the spike down, but now he's in a great position.
Gets the wall, and actually a leg shot through the smokes as well. So the Cypher is actually low on HP at the same time too, but at least it gets planted. It's a 3 versus 3, Neural Theft as well being thrown, so this is going to be hard for a retake now because they know exactly where the defenders are coming from. And it's going to start off here with Sinatra with the Owl Drone. Spots again the second player, the Silva towards the top of the Raptors in the back, and he's going to go with a recon dart that misses unfortunately. The res is going to come forward, but why are you jumping in with your knife out? 3 of them simultaneously die, leaving Gangster on his own once again towards his heaven, and Sinatra picks up that kill.
Lambs to the slaughter, and Sentinel are looking for a good harvest this year. All of the Immortals players just funneling in one at a time into the meat grinder, and they'll come out the other side like sausage. Now, it's another round here for the Sentinels. They can be happy that they found that one, and to be quite honest, it was pretty much a big fumble on the Immortals half. They just funneled on in, and like you said, one had their knife out. I mean, you get the res, and you're trying to defend the res by pushing forward, but you don't push forward with your knife. You know, you want your gun out, you want to click some heads and take some people out, but an unfortunate loss there from Immortals. Let's see if they bounce back in this round ahead.
Definitely, and it starts with an early paranoia. Even shock darts coming in from that window side. It is going to hit Sick, and Sick is even going to heal himself on that. That's interesting. He had 90 HP and is going to go for his self-heal. Now he's got to wait 45 seconds for that to actually regenerate so he could use it again. Meanwhile, though, we have pushed aggressively towards his B side to contest towards the orb for the Immortals. We've taken it, we've fallen back, and we're back to a default.
Seems when Sentinels have, well, actually, that's a lie. I was about to say when they have weaponry, they play it a little slow, but they were even playing it slow on the eco with the pistols, leaving their opposition guessing where they're going to go, and that seems to be the name of the game. They want to catch them by surprise. But, you know, not many of these rounds have really even gotten the spike down, so Sentinels maybe need to start with that part first, making their way through. Sick, as we see him lurk, he's really in deep, almost near the defender spawn, and that's going to be a surprise for Gangsta. Face full of lead from Sick, and now it's going to be the B push for the Sentinels.
Super easy one. Nice initiation there coming in from the flashpoint too, but an orbital strike flushing them out, but it's going to be a fault line unfortunately that dazes Asuna, and Zom still gets the kill, but it's trade at the trade, but advantage comes in for the attackers of Sentinels that have made it into this B site on his 3 versus 1. Rotation coming in from Thief. We've seen him as a big fragger before. The new tryout coming in for Immortals as well, but he's out of position. Now he's even spotted from a recon bolt that gives a chance for Sick to come out and seek him to kill him. That's what I meant to say.
All good, I'll give you a pass. You know, you said the T word yesterday. Exactly. You're forgiven, all right?
All
you're
passes.
forgiven. You're forgiven. All right, okay, so we just passed the half of the half, so we're nearing that end point. Economy is really going to start to play a factor, and we're seeing Immortals here. They're on the save. Sentinels, they've got credits. They've really stocked up on their investments, and their portfolios looking great, so they have nothing to worry about. But, you know, for them, it is Phantoms across the board, really not opting in for literally the operator. Trying to keep it at close range. Haven't seen the Odin yet from Sinatra, but maybe he feels like it's better suited on another map.
Early ore picked up here for the Sentinels. We have some sort of contention here towards the A main. That was deep, but they are on a save, so unfortunately, yes, they're trying to catch them off guard here for the Immortals, pushing through everything right now, but unfortunately, they're not winning these fights. Even we're having a hard time shooting out the recon arrow with our Sheriff, and now the last person's going to be spawning here towards the generator to know exactly where he's at. He's even darted down to 89 HP and 28 armor, but as they're closing in on him, they really want to get the kill. Kohler hoping to get one before he falls, but that's not going to happen. Dapper picks up the kill, and just like that, in a span of a few rounds, and I blink my eyes, I open my eyes, it's 4-4.
Yeah, all tied up, and for the side of Immortals, they can really start to maybe worry, considering the half when it swaps, maybe Sentinels feels a little bit more comfortable on the defensive side. And that's where they will be once we get to that second half. And so another default setup for them to kick us off in the next round. Round number 9. They're looking for information on both sides. It's going to be the push down AC, and the rest of the team looking towards the fish market to gather some more information. But for them, it's Gangsta on the other side. Recon Bolt likely going to make things a little bit more interesting. It's the Shock Bolt this time that makes it interesting. But their location will get revealed, and likely they'll have to back away if they don't want to get too physical.
Yeah, it seems as though this is what they want to do in terms of a counter with Gangsta. Whenever they're going to see a Paranoia being thrown from the B link into the B main, then they're going to counter with shock darts just in case people are actually clouded up there, so that they could actually get the entry towards that B. So it's a good way to throw it, but it didn't land towards anybody really there on that side for Gangsta. So it's going to stay on a 5 versus 5, but they have conceded the orb at the beginning of B.
And I believe that was the orb that went over to Dapper. I think he picked it up. He doesn't have Neural Theft available quite yet. Maybe he's quite close. Maybe a couple of points away. But they'll back away. They got the orb. They got what they wanted. Yeah. Shazam, of course, used the flashpoint towards mid. He was looking for Zombs, maybe to get a little early look in towards the bench Kench. He won't find anything there. It is Asuna there, though. He is hiding there, but they'll get teleport onto the site, and it's a quick shot from Thief to take him out. Kohler as well will find one in rotation. Kohler with 2 in rotation. Shazam will take out Asuna, and they're still trying to break open onto the site.
That's right. Despite them knowing where Thief and Kohler are, they still managed to get all the frags towards that front of the site, even from a pinch coming in from Catwalk. A great rotation, even greater hold from the 2 players inside the site of the Immortals, and they retake the lead. They haven't really lost it since the beginning of this matchup, but it got caught up to a tied situation. And when we talked about the last time these guys faced against each other, finishing 13-12 in sudden death, it's looking to be that case again here, Simo.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see what the round-by-round looked in that match on the T1 Showdown. Of course, I don't recall it off the top of my head. That would be insane. I would have photographic memory. But it would be interesting to see if it was so back and forth similar to this match. And if so, then that means that maybe not much has changed. But we, of course, do know that that is not the case. Sentinels have felt a little bit more upgraded, a little bit more valiant, a little bit more hungry for success. And we're seeing that here as they're keeping things close to Immortals.
Again, Kohler's going to play super passively inside that garden. Usually you see him towards that ledge looking straight into Catwalk, but he's just going to go for the smokes and really play in obscurity. So as he puts that down, they could still take advantage and walk through it right now, and it does. And the first one to run across, but he was spotted here, and even a Neural Theft to come out. This is going to be big coming from Dapper, and they're going to be able to at least get that information, get into A at the same time too, and Sentinels will get that plant.
I'll get that plant down. It is now to Immortals in the 3v5. Kind of put together all that they can, and it's going to be a tall task for them. Smoke's coming out up into heaven, so it's going to be difficult to cross. Recon Bolt as well. I believe that is the Immortals Recon Bolt. I think Bjor might be looking for a couple of exits, or maybe for some information that he can rely on a frag or 2, but pretty much the call there is to back away. But look at this rotation from Asuna. He's trying to sprint over as fast as possible to get some cheeky little exits, but he's going to be greeted by some of these members very shortly. He's in position. Shazam knows that something's not quite right with how this recipe for disaster is coming through. Now Asuna, I wonder if he hears anyone on the other side. In fact, he does not want to risk the weaponry. I think he... Oh, that was so... Okay, I appreciate the effort. Okay, he was looking for exits, ran all the way around the map, but still got taken out.
Yeah, just from a quick AD from Sinatra, because you saw that the crosshair of Asuna was really much following Sinatra in case he was continuing to head towards mid, but as he whiffed the 2 first bullets, it comes down to the reaction time of Sinatra, snaps to that 90, gets that kill on that 1 versus 1 spray battle. So a nice job there for Sinatra, tying up the situation here, 5-5 overall, because of course the spike did go off. So you talked about a lot of rounds where they weren't able to get spikes down. They finally did here, and it finally went off too at the same time. They didn't really need to kill everybody at that point, because we're saving our weapons into this round for the rest of Immortals in this 11th round.
You know, the last time they faced on Ascent, it was Sick, Shazam, and Dapper topping the charts. But this time it's Sinatra. I really do feel like, even with the recent tournament, the Cash App He was able to really level up his game. Not sure what has changed since now in the showdown. Maybe better coaching, maybe a better practice environment. There's a lot of factors that we may not know about, but what I do know is that Sinatra is having a great time. Seeing Dapper, though, he's not having such great of a time. Has to back away from the Molotov, and it's still 50 seconds left on the clock for Sentinels to push in.
Yeah, that's new to me. I guess it probably existed for quite a while now, but it's the first time that I actually saw a cyber cage that could turn into a one-way towards that tree side. So that's actually really good and useful here for Thief playing inside A. That's now anchoring, and he's also dazed, unfortunately, as Dapper gets the easy frag. Everybody, once again, made it inside this A side, but Kohler's in a better position this time, because everybody's looking back towards this spawn side at Raptor still. Now Sinatra, as he loves that spawn, finally loses it, as Kohler gets the frag up to Shazam. The res will come up, though, so it's back for round 2 for Sinatra. Gets immediately killed by Gangsta. There's only going to be one more remaining inside that hell. It's going to be Dapper. Actually, Zombs is still alive as well. It's a 2 versus 2. We turn the tides around, and Zombs gets a triple kill to give the Sentinels the lead 6-5 in the first half.
Wow. This is the last round, too, and so it could really tie us up, but for the side of the Sentinels, they finally have their first round lead, and a special one at that. Zombs coming in to get in the beautiful 3K. And, you know, they were really so focused on Sick, who was below down in hell. But Zombs, he comes in and he demands respect. Look at me, 3 kills, easy peasy, up from heaven. And now that's going to put him up in the leaderboards. Of course, nowhere clear to Sinatra, but still a great effort from the Sentinels. And now, looking at the round ahead, they're getting a little bit more involved in Sick, already with the frag, fighting for that orb. Oh, with 2! Let's go.
No pun intended. That was really nice from him there on that snap, on that second kill. And how did he get the first one? Again, that combo of the paranoia and then pushing through. They caught them. They got the frag onto the Sage, and the Sage fell down of Viewer. They break open the door, though, as soon as trying to go for this rotation. We're getting the spike plant inside B, but it's looking very dire now for the last round of Immortals.
Like the setup here. They're trying to get that smoke down. Stick is going to peek, and it's just a great lineup for Asuna. Sinatra tries to get an early peek as well. That'll make the odds a little bit more even, but that's going to be the red carpet rolled out, and it's Immortals that have to back away. They're still looking to fight as the spike, it's sticking down, and it's sticking down quickly. They need to act. They swing together as a team. Thief going to find the first one, but it's Dapper. They don't check the 50. Around the corner goes Kohler. And down he goes to Dapper. Beautiful 3K to deny the re-entry onto the site. It gives us a 7-5 scoreline with Immortals now on attack.
So if you're trying to look at the highlight reel, you had an ace coming in from Sinatra, you had a 3K coming in from Zombs, you have a 3K coming in from Dapper, you got Sick with a couple of 2Ks going on as well. These guys are fragging right now for the Sentinels, and it started off really well here for the Immortals. I don't think it's over yet. They took the easier side, and then once Sentinels got a little bit more comfortable, you started seeing that it was going to lean more towards a one-way attacker side for the Sentinels. So let's see what Immortals could prepare now, as we're now switching sides.
I'm pretty excited to see what they end up coming up with. It's been a long time since the showdown, or at least what it feels like in Valorant Esports, a long time. Another chance at redemption here for Sentinels. They lost 13-12 the last time these two teams met on Ascent, and that is a defeat that you do not take lightly. Set up here for A as the paranoia comes out. Dapper going to be the first line of contact, as is Doms, but he gets taken out. Dapper going to find one. He's going to find two. The Ghost is putting in the work. 3K for him. Asuna will be there for the refrag. Sinatra as well to follow up, and now it's just down to 1. Immortals. The spike is down, and so is Asuna. Sick taking him out. A great round to kick us off here in the second half, rather, for the Sentinels.
Yeah, that was a great job for Dapper, just keeping his cool even though he got paranoid. And that's the thing, though. I think it was a little bit too slow for them to try to get in. I'm wondering if because they put a cyber cage up, which kind of slowed down Immortals trying to get into the site at the same time, too. And because of that, as soon as they made it in, it was too late. Dapper wasn't even blinded anymore, so it was easy for him to swing out, get those 3Ks into the round, and then even get support from rotation coming in from the Heaven side. We didn't even get a spike down, so that's no money coming in for the Immortals, but they're still going to invest into 3 ghosts into the round.
Did you say that as soon as they made it in? Asuna? Did you say that? Is that correct? Yeah?
I definitely wanted to see some kills, but it didn't happen.
Okay, fair enough, but you might get what you asked for as there's a quick trade between both teams. Shazam gonna make that lightning strike as there's 3 down for him. And he'll just continue on spraying. 2 more now remain for Immortals. Soon we'll find one which might open up that B site and hopefully pick up an upgrade, but there's no weapon there. So he's kind of confused. This fell off the side of the world. And believe it or not, this happened to me earlier in Ranked. Somebody died in Defender spawn, and the op fell out of the world, and you couldn't pick it up. So, happened to Asuna. Hate to see it. Feels bad, man, in the chat, but it's another round for the Sentinels.
Yeah, that definitely made him feel bad at that point, because I guess he was falling back for his teammate's corpse that probably had a sheriff, and then now that it wasn't there, it kind of threw him off on, okay, I lost some time, couldn't find the gun, now everybody's rotated, I can't win this round, and then he got easily picked by somebody that pushed up towards the catwalk too. This round, though, we will finally see a gun round coming through for the Immortals at this point. You see a Phantom already being wielded by Asuna as he's looking to get the smoke towards his mid control. And there's also going to be the Brimstone Kohler that's going to move up with him to try to take control of the catwalk side.
I like this push. Sick actually finds one. They paranoid the push forward and then push themselves. Asuna, though, he will get a refrag, so maybe it was not for naught. They will quickly trade, and it's still Immortals looking for a push towards A. They'll be a little deterred, but it's Sinatra with the shotgun. We've seen him have some spicy weaponry before, but it's Shazam that steals the show as he finds a beautiful 3K. It's not going to be in the cards for him for the 4th kill, but now it's the 1v2. Trying to run away is Asuna with the spike. Now he might be looking towards B.
Yeah, he made it towards that mid side. I gotta say, a nice job at least there for Shazam. Kind of like a Wardell, usually an operator, but still very good with a rifle too. Asuna, for this point, has made it inside B. Cyber Cage is gonna go up as well in case he came from the main. He's actually gonna look for the battle. I wonder if he's gonna walk back towards the mid side. So far, he's just going to hold it off just to see if he can hear footsteps. So that's why he's getting very, very close to the wall. Everybody else, though, both players here from the Sentinels are at this mid side. And he might even be able to walk it over. But look at that. They're walking back towards catwalk.
You know, I have to imagine the Sentinels are wondering, where the hell did that spike go? They probably were looking for it because they definitely saw that it dropped when the spike carrier is down. It's pretty audible, and that's going to be Dapper. That'll seal the deal there on Astuna's fate. Another round for the defenders. And we are getting close to the end here. You know, there was a couple of rounds where, of course, it starts off, it's the pistol, blah, 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 blah. But now we're at a point where the economy is, of course, now starting to swing back and forth. And Sentinels have that swing in full effect. See if Immortals are able to bounce back. Because it's going to be very, very disappointing for them if they lose this first map, considering they were able to take it off Sentinels in the first case at the T1 Showdown.
And this is where it's going to get difficult now because you have Sinatra in his favorite spot with the Odin. He's going to go for the recon arrow right now towards B main. Even the paranoid could be thrown, but it's a little bit too far. Now here comes the spray. Recon bolt destroyed, and he's going to spray it across, but does not connect, unfortunately. They're even combating for the orb, and Stick is running back.
It's quite interesting. You know, you don't really see in Valorant meta too often a fight for the orb, you know?
Yeah.
Usually it's just given up where the real estate is so much more open for either team to just take control of it. Kohler is going to find one early with the Sheriff onto Shazam. And every kill is important on an eco for them because they're looking to try to make this very difficult. Paranoid that comes out, it's going to be Sick. He's in a great position. One shot connects, but it's not going to be the second or the third. Now down to Sinatra with his favorite Odin. He's ready to spray and pray, but he's not going to be answered today. Only finds one as Steve early finds the refrag, and now it's down to the 2v3. Weapons picked up here for Immortals so they can have a little bit more of an opportune time, and Zom's trying to break down that barrier orb, but combined with the shots from Dapper as they're looking to break open onto the site in a very difficult site to push in. Don't really know which choke point to walk through, but there's an Odin on the other side waiting to mow you down. So as the spike is ticking, let's see how this pans out.
And it's going to start with the Paranoid to be executed here, but Pure is not going to get picked by that. So he's going to get the easy kill, but it's traded off by Dapper. Only 10 HP. Thief wall bangs him. Dapper falls down, and Immortals finally put the first point on the scoreboard here for the second half.
That was the eco. That was a round that Sentinels... Yeah, that was a round that the Sentinels should have stayed fast and found positions to, or find opportunities to... obviously win the round. And, you know, for the side of Immortals, when they played defense, they played very far back. They played almost too far back in some cases, as they were just trying to give space for the opposition to push in so that they can counter. But now for the side of Sentinels, it does feel like they're playing a little bit more forward, and that might have been the reason why Immortals was able to break through. A little overzealous, relying on the aim, relying on the ability to outduel, but they did not outduel in that round.
Oh, it's going to be such a close battle, and Kohler gets the reaction shot, and a second one up to Sick. Sick was actually trying to kill Kohler, went through the smoke, and it killed his teammate. There was a stage that died. Orbitals tried to come down too, but nobody's going to peek out. Even we're trying to get some more action coming through, as we do have a Rolling Thunder coming out from Shazam. That is actually going to connect onto Kohler, but Gangsta saves him there, coming out from the fountain on that mid side. So we summarize it with a 3 versus 1, with Dapper looking to clutch.
I mean, he's looking to clutch, but the odds are definitely not in his favor. He does not have a fresh corpse to use Neural Theft. At least it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. He's checking all the possible angles. Honestly, once he breaks that door down, it's pretty much telling where he is, so he's going to try to take the long way around. Not sure if that is a tripwire that is his. It doesn't look like that's the case. So even if he were to end up going towards the fish market, I believe that tripwire is, of course, Thief's. Yeah. And so he's going to need to just collect his things and be on his merry way.
Yeah, I think even at that point, I don't know if there was an operator inside that round, so you could lurk around towards that mid, but obviously now that he's hiding on his catwalk, it wasn't called for his teammate. That's someone who was actually opting for the team. So he's going to stay and try to save his Phantom into the next round. So Immortals with a nice execution towards his mid side, very aggressive towards the mid smokes. It became a bloodbath pretty much of trades, but it comes down to Immortals taking the upper hand. I do like the fact that, you know, Shazam, he played under the unknown. He wanted to make a play. He threw out the Rolling Thunder. He got actually Kohler into the corner, but he expected there was at least 1 or 2 more close to him as they kept playing that trade game. But his teammates for Kohler were so far back, and that was an easier shot there for Gangsta to get that pick onto Shazam.
Yeah, Kohler was just playing the martyr there. He knew he was going to die. There was no way that you go into that thinking, I'm going to survive. And quite honestly, 2 kills is a pretty good trade. That is probably, I mean, best trade is a 1v5 cleanup, but that is obviously very hard to pull off, especially in a case like that where you're just pushing in a choke point blindly. But moving on to this round, Immortals, they're catching up round by round. They've got a lot of ultimates in play here. They've got the Hunters here, Neural Theft. They've got a Resurrection as well, but both teams have a Resurrection. So in some cases, that is often used to just nullify the other. But when bodies are found in very difficult places to reach, it can actually quite benefit you if you use your Resurrection early enough. Smoke's going down, and it's still Sentinels biding their time with a minute left on the clock.
And what I like about Immortals' play so far is that you see from the beginning of the round, so far they haven't even smoked mid. And the second thing is they like to spray, right? Because you could actually spray through that wall. They don't care to let people know their opposition know where they are. You come out towards that fight, I have 6 bullets left. It's enough for me to get the kill. I don't have to go for a reload every time I spam 10 bullets. That kind of makes a difference as a different type of play style from some players on the attack versus other teams, where they just like to go for all-out executions and prefer to shoot when they see opponents.
Ooh, I could see that Zombs was trying to hide behind the box. He's going to find one. They'll get a res as well, and it's going to be bad news bears for the defense. But Dapper makes it worth his while. Resurrection on Sinatra as well. Puts another one into the mix, and it's down to the 4v1. Gangsta, the last one standing. He's got a tall task ahead. 13 seconds left on the clock. At this point, I might just want to save the weapon. He's still determined to push in, and it's Dapper that'll clean him up, inching ever so closely to that match point.
And it shows how much these guys have so much confidence for their teammates to go for immediate reses in the middle of a gunfight for both of the teams, right?
Yes.
So I love that play. I love that synergy. I love the camaraderie for the teams too. And, you know, we have each other's backs, and it turned out very well for the Sentinel team, as they were just able to hold everything back here on the defender side.
But you know what? We saw that on the attack too. There was a round where Sick rezzed, and then they all pushed in with their knives, and it didn't work out. So it's not always going to be the answer.
You're running in with your knife.
Okay, Sinatra. Okay. All right. Let's put the Hunter's Fury down. Let's talk about it. Don't know how he finds that frag, but he does. And now that opens things up for the Sentinels. I think they're hungry to close it. Zom's going to push in aggressively down the catwalk. It's Sinatra as well pushing in. Maybe they have an idea that this isn't Eco, of course, not really having the weaponry, but Gangsta's got a Phantom. This tells me that this is not an Eco.
No,
They've got weapons.
Definitely a buy coming through, and then you have Sinatra coming back with the Hunter's Fury, and he's even running down towards that catwalk with the Odin in his hand, just pre-firing everything. So they still have that confidence. They want to assert dominance early in this matchup too. It looked like it was basically them patching up here into this matchup for the Immortals, and Sentinels just want to say no. Sinatra, you just saw it, even flying all the way from spawn side, aimed down the site, got the kill, and look at this aggressive push. All 5 players alive on a flawless, and they close in towards that B main. I don't know, man. It's just Immortals. Let's bring it to the second map already. This is what Sentinels is playing. Is saying, rather.
So if I were to base my analysis off of just this map alone, I'm already seeing that Sentinels are a newer team than what we last saw at the T1 Showdown. Yeah. They didn't really make it quite far, to be quite honest. In fact, it was Immortals that kicked them out of the playoff stage. And then they fell down to the lower bracket, and I don't exactly remember who they faced, but it doesn't seem like they made it very far since it was FaZe and Immortals fighting for that 3rd place match, right? Or fighting to move forward, right? So it does really feel like Sentinels have their strategies unlocked. They know what they want to do, and they're executing as a result of that. That was an aggressive round from the defense. Started with the Hunter's Fury, and then they pushed Cat together as 2, and even if one fell down, you still get the trade. They are looking to make moves here, and it starts here with the Sentinel.
That's right. So when you're looking at this matchup now, it is one-sided and very dominant here for the Sentinels, at least for the last 2 rounds. As Sinatra back at his spot towards this B side. Hunter's Fury does not connect with anybody there. But all of the attackers, you can see him are lurking up towards this cat, and there's only one person, and that is Dapper, trying to hold it, and he's going to try to hold it for as long as he can.
Yeah, an early peek here from Zoms, though. He's going to take Gangsta down to 19, and it's quite aggressive as he pushes in with the Owl Drone and still going to survive the fall line as well. Makes it very difficult for Gangsta to get out of that situation. Shots are good, and it's Dapper as well. Kohler, though, sneaks into the site. Exactly They've got control of the A site, and now it's down to the 3v3, and it's Sentinels that have to push back in.
Yeah, the hat is off as well. There's a Neuro Theft being thrown here by the Immortals, so they know where the rotation's coming from, and that is all coming from the spawn side at the Rafters. Shazam trying to lead the charge, moving outside the window so he could flank from that big door. So as soon as he breaks the wall, they know that where it's coming from. So Bjor and his teammates playing super close towards this Jenny. Let's see if they can hold it.
They've got all angles covered. Sinatra looking for a great shock dart, and he's going to push as it lands as well. The buddy system in tow. One going to be behind the boxes, and the spray's good onto one. Looks like a quick trade down to the last 1v2 around the corner goes Shazam. It's all up to Zoms now, and the swing is good for Bjor, and it's a round back for Immortals.
That was a gamble right there. I mean, you're playing it super close to that point. It's going to be an expensive round for you to win too. Looking at the money situation, look at that. See, look at the attackers. They have no money left. Barely any money. So you're going to see probably Gangsta with a Bulldog if you want to. Same thing with maybe Thief or even Small Armor. Yeah, you can go for that as well. So it's going to be small shields and rifles going through here for the Immortals. So despite them winning that round, it was still an expensive one for them to move forward. Yes. I hate how these colors of the scoreboards are so confusing. But we got it right. We got it right.
Yeah, it honestly, it screwed me up yesterday too, so I feel that. I feel that.
So now still a map point situation here for the Sentinels as we're just waiting here for a big refresh going on here from both the chat and for ourselves to see what's going to happen. It's a close one so far into that last matchup here, Simo. But is it going to be enough now? Like I said, a super low buy coming in for the Immortals.
Bjor going to be trying to push in here, looking for Gangsta as well to support him. An important round for them, of course, to win. Can be Gangsta. He's got himself a decent angle to try to push in. Sinatra with the spray in is going to be good. Doesn't find anybody, though. And now it's still Immortals trying to push in. They're all held up here in Pizza, having a quick slice, and then looking towards the B site. Dark cover as well, going to push off the back of site. It's Zoms as well to be there, but it's the Shadows looking for whoever is on the site itself. Dapper's going to be the one that defends it. It's 2 already on the site. Sinatra with 1. Dapper just playing ring around the rosy, but does not check the last cozy in the corner. It's going to be Kohler that takes him out. Orbital strike that's going to push them all out of that back corner. And now it's the 2v3 with Sentinels pushing back in.
Great job by Kohler. Great job by Asunas as well. Looking for a 4K, but it's stopped by Stick. Stick healing himself back. He's going to be by himself on his 2 versus 1 versus Kohler and versus Thief. And now he's slowly closing through. He knows that there's somebody just around the corner at the default boxes, and Kohler, because of that pre-fire shot, looks back towards that wall and immediately dispatches the Sage to take him down. Sick falls, and Immortals still fight another round.
And another round is another round that they stay in the game. It is, of course, match point for Sentinels, and for the side of Immortals, they're just trying to make it through and see if they can... to be quite honest, you know what would be crazy? You know what would be crazy? If they were able to win 13-12 over Sentinels here. That's what happened last time. So what if it happened this time? That would be. But I'm not gonna count the cows till they come home just quite yet. So for the Sentinels, they still have the chance to defend here and take us to map 2.
Yeah, definitely. I was just looking back at the stats here. It was the T1 Nursery Gamers Showdown. It was 13-10 on Bind, 13-10 on Haven for each team, and then 13-12 that Sentinels lost here on this map. And it's starting off once again, but at least the story's different. Sentinels gets the first kill here into the round, and they're one frag closer to bring it to a second map. Asuna moving forward with his teammate towards Pizza. Actually, all 4 of them are towards this mid, and they're going to try to push towards that back where Shazam is waiting.
Unfortunately, misses the shot, uses that flash as well. A couple of those pre-fire shots make it quite difficult for Shazam to peek around the corner, and he'll just be smoked off completely. Immortals, they're going to rush out of that position, not feeling too comfortable to stay there for too long. And you can see Sentinels, they've pulled off a lot of that utility and that membership from the A site, but now it's just down to Zoms. He sees the smokes go down, and it's a pretty telling sign that it may be the A execute. You know, there's only 30 seconds left on the clock, so it's a very important amount of time for them to try to execute. You're hearing all that noise. Zoms is in a perfect position, but out the smoke he goes is Kohler. That'll deny that push. Dapper, though, on the site, the spray cannot connect to the second, and now it's the 3v3 with that spike going down.
Oh, even better. It's going to be the orb coming through the whiff from Shazam as he gets punished by Asuna. And you got to give it to Kohler every single round. They're always a man behind. And look at him. He's always at the right place, but unfortunately loses that fight to Sick. And Sick has a res, so he's going to put his teammate up. And that is now going to be a 2 versus 3 moving forward. Off shot missed by Sinatra. Asuna spanks him for that. And now it's a 2 versus 2. Both of them at default spot. 1 versus 1 battles. And Thief and Asuna both win their own. And they survive another round.
Okay, but let's talk about that for a second. Zoms gets res, and Sick goes for the 1v2. Guess what Zoms does? He starts defusing. They have so much confidence in each other that Zoms is just like, yeah, forget it. Like, yeah, he's got this. It's fine. He's got this. And then Sick is like, no, I don't. He swings around the corner, and it's Steve that's like, wait. It's like that, like, there's like an exclamation point like above his head, and there's like, what? You know, Nani? Like, he just turns the corner, takes him out. And they're still in this. Immortals, they got 2 more to go. They want to tie us up and obviously bring us to that overtime match, but they are holding strong.
Look at this. So a force buy coming in now for the defenders of Sinatra and company of Sentinels, sorry, as Shazam has a judge. Watch the judge being the gun that's going to change the round over for this matchup here and give a chance for Sentinels to move forward. If not, though, it is a broken buy that they have for this defense that's going to allow, technically on paper, to make it 11-12 for the Immortals, and we will go to distance in this first map.
We did see, of course, Sinatra there with the frenzy, try to take out that owl drone before it darted him, but it unfortunately did, and we're seeing an owl drone of Sinatra's own pushing in through the fish market. Unfortunately, we'll not find fish, but a couple of enemy Immortal players hanging around on the other side. And Sick gets quite aggressive. The pistol is not going to be good as Bjor will take him out with the headshot. And actually, it's Asuna that gets into the back of sight, and Sinatra tries to hold on, but now he's in a very sticky situation. He's about to be flooded in from behind, but it's Immortals. They've got full control of the site.
Yeah, and you saw a Thief that's lurking down towards that mid, and there you go. The judge does not come into play here for the Sentinels. It's looking very good to bring this into that 24th round. The last round to go in regulation as Zoms also falls. A 5, make that a 4 as Dapper gets the shot onto Thief versus 1 versus 0 as Asuna sweeps up the kill. And now they're going to have the money at least on the other side for the Sentinels. They have enough for an operator as well. This is going to be a stressful round for both of these teams.
It does look like they're still, you know, deciding to go with the Phantom instead. Yep. We're seeing a couple of Vandal buys for the Immortals, or just holding on to the weaponry that they had in the previous round. But regardless, after this, money doesn't really matter a whole lot. It's the overtime round, and for Immortals, this is the most important one. Well, actually, the following two are the most important ones, but for Sentinels, they want to end the train right here. They want to pull it to a full stop. You're seeing the positioning. They're getting a little bit more aggressive here. Sinatra, he was able to find a great start earlier on with the Hunter's Fury. He's going to find two early that are hanging around the AC, and they'll get that orb and likely back away from the side of the Immortal.
Yeah, that charged up the orbital strike, for Kohler. On the other end, I was going to say, they actually have 4 ultimates for the defender side to make that only 2, though, unfortunately, as Zom dies. A Dapper pushes up on Catwalk. It's looking to get traded back, but as soon as misses the shot, just around the corner, it's going to be Breach for Shazam. He gets the kill, coming across as well for another flashpoint, and a Rolling Thunder. That's not going to connect, on the Thief, but Thief still gets the kill. A Brimstone ultimate coming down towards that mid-side. Sick does not get hit for that. Thief gets the kill on the Sinatra, traded off by Sick. 2 versus 2. Neural Theft coming out from the Sentinels at the same time as well. But Kohler still wins the fight against Sick. Dapper now on a 2 versus 1.
That was one hell of a round. That was spicy from the start to the finish, but the round's not over yet. It is the Mortals that are getting that spike down. Unfortunately, no ultimates available, so it cannot get any more interesting than it is, but Dapper with a great camera actually pushes through the smoke down to the 1v1 and now going to back away, likely funnel in from the window, and thankfully for him, it has been broken down. Dapper down to 37 HP. Of course, it is Kohler that is fully stocked, and unfortunately, once he sprays through this door, it's going to be quite telling where he's coming from. The spray is good. He gets a little bit more involved, and there's a wall on the other side. And he's still trying to check his corners. The last one is down below Hell, and Dapper, so close. Kohler taken down to 30 HP, but man, Silly, it's going to overtime, and we might see a repeat of the T1 showdown.
We will see a repeat, at least of the overtime, definitely. Who knows what the result's going to be. But just to let you guys know, unfortunately, we are going to play sudden death only into this overtime. We're watching earlier on a tournament with the Ignition series with Vitality, and it seems as though there was some bug that still happened, and just to play the safe case, we couldn't play the overtime on that sign. So we're just going to continue on with the sudden death into this tournament now. So it's still going to be 1 round sudden death in this first map.
However, when we do end up going over to Bind, it is a map that is Sentinels' comfort pick, something that they're comfortable with, and they were able to take Immortals 13-10, but we're not there yet. Still, it's the overtime where all the cards are on the table, and we'll see how they are played. Kohler doing exactly what he does, just pushes in through the Kench bench, trying to find anyone on the other side. The smoke is good from the opposition to try to delay it for a little while, but it's full mid control here for Immortals. For the defense, they're doing their best Immortals impersonation, playing very far back and waiting for their opposition to push in.
Yeah, even Nasunai is on the top of the boxes to look up for any aggressive pushes towards this catwalk, but all 5 players now of the Immortals are holding up towards this mid. We did have an Owl drone coming out from that B main that's going to launch that trapwire, so that's going to give a chance here for Sinatra to push forward if he wants to, but they're just looking to go for faster rotations. No, they are actually going for it. So 2 people are going to go for a big flank, but the execution is happening very soon here for the Immortals inside A.
I like this flank, though, from Sinatra. Unfortunately, it may be caught out here by Asuna, but he just leaves in an unfortunate time. Dapper finds one. The spray is good, and they're up on the boost. They actually push in. It's Kohler who's pushing in quite aggressively. There are, of course, 2 members on the site. And it's Kohler that'll take out the one in heaven. Zoms will get a quick trade, and Gangsta to follow suit. It is getting down to the wire, but it's still the 3v3 with the spike not down yet.
Yeah, and Dapper is still holding back here towards his ramp. There's only 14 seconds left on the clock, finally to get that spike down. But Sinatra is moving forward here with Sick as they're going for that flank. Pure to fall. 2 only alive for the Immortals as they're pretty much out in the open inside the site. Gangsta is going to have to be the first point of contention. Kohler even walking out, gets the first kill onto Sinatra, but it's traded out. And unfortunately, Sick gets that last kill. They'll come in for the defuse, and they get the revenge as they win the map of Ascent. Their map pick. 13-12 over the Immortals.
Okay, that was one hell of a match. Listen, I understand that maybe the past 2 best-of-3s may have not been... They were a little rocky, might I say, okay? But this is one hell of a start to a best-of-3, and I'm excited for the map ahead.
I just got to say sorry to Golden Boy and Tabala. It seems as though we're getting the better ones, but at least we're set up for a good best out of 3 here and some great best out of 3s in the semifinals tomorrow.
Look at these stats, man. Kohler and Asuna, they really were the heroes there. Kohler, of course, he had a lot of impressive plays, really just pushing in on his own, and in some cases ending up with 1, ending up with 2. But wow, just what a match from these two teams.
Oh, I'm completely blown away. You know, I was sitting there watching it, and I was looking at that lead Sentinels had, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're going to close it out this round. All right, they'll close it out this round. They'll close it out this round. 5 rounds go by, and I'm like, wait a second, what is going on here? Immortals is doing this, and then they bring it 13-12, and then I'm like, hold up, now the momentum, because momentum is a thing in esports, absolutely, and Immortals had it up until the very end. But, man, seriously, the star players there, Kohler, Asana obviously went off. Kohler 27 and 19. He played out of his mind. There were so many chances that he had where he picked up and he showed up, whether it was 4K, 3Ks. He was showing up to the party, ready to party. Overall, super happy with how that match went. So incredibly close. And I think that's how the series is going to go overall. And one thing, too, personally, I'm super, well, I got to say this. I'm super happy that Sentinels actually pulls away with that win because that was the first time I've seen a Breach all tournament long. I know Breach isn't super popular. I'm a Breach main. Okay, so Shazam representing well, winning that because if he would have lost, I'd have been like, oh, no, I'm not going to say it, but he wins. Man, overall, though, fantastic stuff. Simo, give me a recap. I mean, really, what was the deciding factor for this match?
Well, before I do that, you may need to talk to Bach because he could probably put on a pretty mean Breach cosplay. He's got the beard.
Cosplay, huh?
Yeah, you know, he can make it work. He can make it work, trust me. But when it comes to these two teams, it really did feel like there was a battle of two different ideologies when it comes to Valorant. For the side of the Sentinels, they have insane trust in each other. They will peak together, they'll swing together, and in some cases it's a little over-aggressive, but they trust each other. In one of those rounds, it was sick in a 1v2, and Zom was like, yeah, I'll just defuse over here. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. They, of course, lost that round, but there's so much trust in the team that they're able to push forward together as a unit and get the frags that they need or get the executes that they need or the retakes, whatever. For the side of Immortals, it does feel like there's a little bit more of like a shining light, and that is, of course, Kohler. He is always the one that is pushing forward. He's always the one that is leading the charge. Of course, correct me if I'm wrong, he may not be the IGL, or he wasn't the IGL when JC Stanley was on the team, but he kind of feels like it because he's pushing in and he's getting these frags, which will open up a lot of opportunities for the team.
Yeah, definitely. Kohler, 50% IGL since JC Stanley got the opportunity to look for different opportunities. But I got to say, I echo what Simo was saying. Kohler did his job as well. They had so many situations where it was like a 4 versus 5 entering inside a site. They were dying. Kohler was the one that was able to flank around and turn the situation around into their favor. But not only that, like you said here, Reflections, when Shazam is using a Breach in July of 2020, it's still pretty ballsy because now when you look at the meta of actually using Omen Smokes, right? Omen Smokes actually allows a lot of close range battles and also taking advantage of walking through smokes. So Breach flashes become pretty much nullified at that point because as soon as you're inside a dome of the smokes, this guy never played Valorant before. If you're inside of a smoke or anything, out of the vision of something, nothing affects you in terms of flashes. So it kind of nullifies that, but at least he had the Rolling Thunder that did help in certain situations. But overall, you still got to give it to Sentinels the way that everybody else top frag pretty much for the team. 3Ks, aces coming in from Sinatra, Zoms too. It's just a great battle overall and a good look for an exciting series.
Absolutely, and I can't wait for map number 2 that's going to be coming up, of course, on Bind. Golden Boy gave me some newfound confidence. Chad, I'll take you all on. I saw you hating on me for being a Breach main. Everybody needs love, okay? So, I got to give love to Breach, even though I know he's not meta. I don't care. One day he's going to be in the meta, and I'm going to be right there ready to go. I don't know if I'll be picked up, but we'll talk about that later. Either way, with that being said, fantastic matchup. A lot of great moments. 2 aces, by the way. Another $20 going to this fantastic cause. Of course, United Way of New York City. Either way, they keep racking up that money from us, and it's all for the love of the people of New York City. Either way, guys, map number 2 is going to be coming up. It's going to be even more better than this one, I would have to assume. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There was a lot of hardship. There was a lot of struggle because it's just me and my son. I work full-time, sometimes I pull doubles, sometimes I'm unable to attend everything.
Did you know that 2 of 5 New York City households, just like Jessica's, don't earn enough to cover the basics? That's 2.5 million New Yorkers who struggle to pay for housing, childcare, food, transportation, healthcare, taxes, and other expenses. Yet only 1/3 of that number are poor, according to the Federal Poverty Guideline. They are the hidden poor, who are routinely overlooked and undercounted.
My husband had just lost his job. He was struggling, I was struggling. We were falling behind the bills. A month later, that's when we got evicted. And we walked out of there with just the clothes that we had on our backs. I was falling apart, but I had to keep it together because I was 4 months pregnant with my daughter.
A steady job doesn't guarantee a family's self-sufficiency. 84% of households below self-sufficiency standards have at least one worker. But it doesn't have to be this way. What we know is that healthy, educated, and financially secure New Yorkers make a safer and more prosperous New York. We also know that government, community-based organizations, corporations, and private donors are essential to building a self-sufficient community. By working together, we can move New Yorkers from crisis to stability to strength.
I see Jalen doing great things. I just want him to do and be everything that he can be and get everything that life has to offer for him.
We all have a role to play. What's yours?
Before we start, quick shout out to our friends at Insights.gg. They have a platform to help players improve their performance with VOD review tools as well as Valorant map overlays and agent icons. If you're serious about getting better, create a free account today.
Nobody really knows. They say she looks young, but say she acts old. From everything I've heard, she gets out of control. And all the boys say she was sent from the heavens, but I'm not too sure that this girl is a blessing. She's got the devil's eyes and they'll cut you like a weapon. She's stuck in my mind like a bad obsession. Got bad intentions. She's got a body like a cold thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me. She's got a body like a cold thing. She likes to keep the party going. These rumors got me feeling lonely. I want that body, baby, show me.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pulse Arena Invitational in support of United Way of New York City, a fantastic cause that is helping those families in need, obviously with the effects of COVID-19. We head into game number 2 between Sentinels and Immortals, and currently right now Sentinels was able to strike first, get revenge over Immortals on Ascent. They lead 1-0 in this best of 3, so at this point in time, the ball is in their court. They win the next map, which is going to be on Bind. They will take a 2-0 victory. I'm Taylor Reflections Noble, joined by Vansili and Simo, and they're going to be calling the action, of course, for game number 2 and hopefully game number 3. I would love to see another one. Simo, how you feeling?
Listen, after a match like that, it's very difficult to not be excited. No, I'm still buzzing from the Cloud9 TSM best of 3, and this is giving me some similar energy for how the matches are unfolding.
Definitely, and for me too, super excited. I mean, the matchup got me so excited that I was sweating again while casting, so unfortunately, I had to go switch shirts again during the break. I didn't have enough time, so the only thing that was close to me was a jersey, so I'm wearing my Montreal's Canadian jersey, and there's no more hockey.
We got blue, red, blue. Hey,
there you go.
We didn't even win. It's just chemistry just works, man. Chemistry just works between us.
You are the king of changing your shirt after every match. What is it? You got to keep that shtick up, man. You got to do it, man. You got to do it.
Hey, man, not to mention, too, we're also getting that fresh shirt, of course, from All City Artists, too. So we won't be able to wear it for this broadcast, but at least for the next one, you better believe we're going to be breaking it out. So with that being said, they're a fantastic sponsor. It's been a great day. And, we head into Bind. I was looking at some stats a little bit earlier, and whenever it does come to Bind itself, there was a victory that was gathered from the side of Sentinels. They actually beat Sentinels on Bind 10-13. So if history repeats it, well, I guess not history repeats itself, because the T1 event, it was Immortals who was able to take it over Sentinels. But with that being said, though, this might be Sentinels closing out 2-0. I don't know. It's going to be a close one regardless. I don't know if I could take any more aces. I'm already up to $40 at this point. I know Golden Boy's up to what? Now, I think 80 if he's doing 20 per ace, or 60 or 80. Things are getting crazy, boys.
Definitely. I'm getting poor too, because I already spent all my money, especially on the dragon skins as well. So, when yesterday you asked me if I had any regrets buying the dragon skins, now I do, because I kind of want to put it into the United Way of New York City. And I'll do it for both. But nonetheless, we see here this overlay of the Immortals. So we've talked about it before too. This is Immortals map pick as well, going into Bind as well, right? So we're looking at a 13-12 on Sentinels map pick. A great comeback coming as well from Immortals, winning 5 rounds in a row to bring this into sudden death. Close but no cigars. Immortal loses this. They want to come back with a vengeance.
And they're going to have to.
Speaking strictly based on the analysis, it does feel like this may be Sentinels' map. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we're going to press that hot start button from the caster side, and we're going to get right into map number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one here. It's going to be a good one as well, Simo. Again, they want to come out banging here for the Immortals. They want to come out with a vengeance. I think it's a sour taste in their mouth after losing 13-12. Now going into this one here, we will have the Sentinels starting off on the defender side, while we will have the Immortals on the attacker side.
Yeah, and this is something I believe, considering this is now Immortals' pick, the side selection fell onto the Sentinels, and so they'll start us off on the defense.
Yep.
And we are seeing the Omen substitution come out, and Sinatra hopping off of the Sova and moving on to that Phoenix, which we've actually seen before at the 100 Thieves Cash App tournament.
That's right. Into this round now with pistols. Asuna going with the Ghost, as well as Kohler, also known as Swade, for this round, and it's going to be Kohler that gets the first kill. So a curveball did not pay off, but Dapper is also still waiting there. And that's the second time here that he gets a 3 Ks with pistols before he gets stopped by Thief. Now a 3 versus 2. The spike is still on the back here of Thief as they're moving forward. One just under the window. They're going to hear the sound too. It's just going to be very hard. Now Gangsta caught in a reload. Thief jumping in. Gets a second kill off his dog. Evens it at a 1 versus 1. Woo! A 4K! The kill after 6. The pistol for the Immortals.
Listen, I was about to say that Dapper feels like the cipher that she tells you not to worry about, but Thief came out swinging. What a 4K from him, and that'll open things up here for the Immortals, of course. It did feel like after Dapper got that 3K, Sentinels had it in the bag, but when you peek one at a time between the smoke, it's Thief that'll steal away the night. Now they'll have the SMGs online. Asuna's still thinking about what he wants. Opts in for a Bucky for a quick second, but then gets a Phantom, the round 2 Phantom from Asuna. Pay attention to him.
Yeah, and what's changed too for Asuna is instead of playing the Omen from the previous round, he's playing a Raze. And one thing I noticed, I thought it was just a one-map thing, but usually Kohler is a Cypher player for this team. He used to be a solo anchor hold here towards the A side, but now I guess that they have Thief coming in as a stand-in, as a tryout. He is the Cypher main, and Kohler is okay to use Brimstone as a secondary option.
Now we are seeing the smokes go down, of course. Kohler trying to peek his way through. It's the shock bolt as well to try to get a little bit of more information to see who's going to yell out on the other side. Sinatra, of course, is the one that waits in the tuna can. But now the push comes through, and they have to go in blindly as the smoke is down. But Thief's on the other side of the map. He's already poking his head through towards A, and there's nobody there. So Immortals, they're looking to peel off. The utility and the information that they gathered was not enough for a push towards B. And now it's a big long haul sprint over towards A, but no one's there.
That's true. It's going to be fully open for them to make it inside that site. Big shout out to the chat too, letting me know my correction as well. It was actually JC Stanny that still played as a Cypher, so that never really changed for Kohler in the end. So now they move inside this site. We're going to get the spike looking through here. At the Tetris plant, actually, they don't even get a wall up at the same time as well. I guess because they knew somehow as it cleared inside the site that nobody was there, they want to keep the walls and the smokes for later. But as the clock is ticking, everybody's just walking very slowly here for the defenders of the Sentinels because they just want to look for exits at this point.
Yeah, playing it a little bit more safer. We saw Dapper there with the shorty. Not much he can do unless he gets up close and personal, and does not look like that is on his agenda. His to-do list is, of course, move to the next round where he will get a little bit more involved. And for the side of the Sentinels, they're playing it a little bit safer. Sick, though, however, in a much better position with the shorty, but it is, of course, for Immortals. The pull back through Dust and back towards the Wishbone. They'll funnel through. Another round on the board for the attack, but, of course, third round signifies a full buy from the defense, and now Sentinels will have some weaponry to play with. We'll see what they end up choosing and what the default site positions are.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting that you're going against an eco round on that second round, and somehow in that round, everybody stays alive, right, going into the third. I'd like to see the money to see what's going on here into this round, if we can, for the observer, if he's able to catch up to the broadcast with the delay. But it'll be nice to see if... I'm sure we won't get an upgrade, at least on the attacker side, for the Immortals. But for the defenders right now, there you go. Phantoms across the board. We have the Bulldogs still for the attackers. And it's Sinatra running through. He gets the curveball. He whiffed a lot of shots, but finally connects for the kill onto Thief.
Okay, I have a feeling that Sinatra is the developer of the game, because the only time we ever saw that was when the developers were schooling the loaded GG folks on this map specifically. But it was the Raze play that was sent through the portal, not the Phoenix. We are seeing Sinatra adapt a little bit of his own style. Kohler and Bjor will open up onto the site. Around that the defense bot, Sinatra will get the refrag, and now with that spike down, they got to retake the site.
Definitely, and Stick does get the kill. Zom as well onto Gangsta, so far so good for the retake of the site. It's only up to Bjor right now with the Phantom in hand. So they are onto the spike, and as soon as he looks right through the entrance, Sick is waiting for him, pops him in the face, saying, "I'm the better Sage," and a defuse comes in for the Sentinels to make it 2-1.
Listen, I think Michael Jackson had a song about that. It was called "The Man in the Mirror." He was upset with the person on the other side and his reflection. And Sick, he's like, "I don't like that guy. I'm gonna take him out." Bjor, of course, is the one that ends up paying the price. He's not actually a reflection. He's a pro player in Valorant. And entering into round number 4, it is, of course, Immortals. I'm not quite sure if they've got the economy to buy, and as soon as Phantom tells me otherwise, that they do have the credits to purchase some weaponry. So they will still have the ability to compete, but for the Sentinels, their goal is to take down Immortals this round, to dwindle their economy, and bring them back down to pistols in round number 5.
Smoke's down.
Smoke's coming down here from Kohler. That's going to be towards the entrance of the Octagon for them to try to contest to the orb if they want to, because even Gangster brings out the Owl Drone, but they now kiss Owl Drones as one is thrown back from Shazam. So Shazam switching from the breach onto the Sova into this round. Zombs also has a raise. Sinatra with a curveball spotting 2, and now they don't go for the orb anymore. They decide to fall back, but you still have the raise of Asuna inside the hookah, but Sinatra waits for him, gets the headshot, and that is going to be the B side cleared. But we're going for take 2 at long B here, Simo.
You know what I like from Sentinels is that they're committing so many resources to one site. When they hear all of this utility, now, to be honest, that is a double-edged sword. If they commit all to B, but in reality it was just one person throwing utility and really just faking it, that could mean a deadly A push and then they lose control and they've got to retake. So really appreciate these reads from the Sentinels that are saying, okay, we hear the utility, it's a B push. Let's force that and anticipate and get the refrags, but they're already seeing that Immortals have made their way onto the site. Hot hands come through, refrags come through, Sinatra trying to shoot through the smoke, but won't find anyone. Now, they'll try to get that spike down. Oh, it's the run and back, and he gets stuck there in the orbital strike.
Oh, no.
But Shazam, he's gonna find 2, and it's the defense with another round on the board.
Definitely such a nice try there for the attackers to come through, but a great job for the Sentinels to hold it back as much as they can. Yes, to run it back, he died from it with Sinatra, but at least he's able to get that information out to let Shazam know where the last 2 players were for him to come out and get those 2 kills. Not even a spike plant coming down here for the Immortals, so that does not secure 300 credits for each player across the board. So at this point, I think for the attackers, we will be on an eco. Yes, we are. So we have Bure here only with the Sheriff. Nobody upgraded to anything else. We have a couple of classics, maybe Ghosts at this point too, but we'll have to see it as we get through the players. And Shazam gets the first kill there onto Bure.
Man, the Sentinels, they've got some top dirty fraggers on their team. They'll dry peek anything, and they'll do it again. With the side of the Immortals, they are, of course, on the pistol buy. It's just exciting to see somebody swing the angle, get the frag, and be the one that is victorious. For the side of the Immortals, they're obviously looking to buy in the next round, but quite honestly, looking at how this round has unfolded, they haven't really made it expensive for the Sentinels. No one's falled yet. It is near a close, flawless round if Thief can get a frag or 2, but as he swings, he's going to be at the other end of a barrel from Shazam. A couple of Sheriff shots connect. He's going to find Sick, which is a good headshot. And he find another.
The dream of the Flawless is over. A nice shot there onto Sick, but then Dapper gets the wall bang for the kill. So no, he cannot get another. And look at that money right now. It continues to skyrocket in terms of the credits for the defenders of Sentinels. They're going to be able to buy this round, maybe into the next. Yes, Sick might be on a low buy after that too, but overall it's going to look good if they lose the next. So they're looking good in this economy here on the defender side. And Gangster and company upgrading this time after that previous save. And they're looking to be grouped up again for another attempt for this push towards this B side. So you have that that Brimstone that's very close. You're probably going to see that smoke happening where that trap wire is at Octagon, and we'll see if we can take that orb this time.
Recombo early from Gangsta. See if anyone's going to dry peek down long. We saw Sinatra do it before as he hopped in through the portal and found a frag on Dust on the other side. But it's the Owl drone that'll destroy a tripwire, and really that has been kind of the use of it recently. It'll find information, yes, but when it gets rid of a tripwire, it is incredibly valuable. Zombs, though, Dapper will find 2 quick kills. Gangsta with the shock bolt finds Sinatra in the tuna can, and that can will be wide open for Immortals to plant the spike.
Yeah, Neural Theft, it spots them right now, so they're going to play the retake so far. And because they were able to get this area, it was because actually Sinatra wasn't playing Pulse to counter with an Owl drone. But now the Hunter's Fury to come out from Shazam, and it connects onto Pure, unfortunately, at that point, and that should be that spike down now picked up by the Brim.
Okay, the reason why I'm laughing is because they both did it at the same time. I almost had to lose myself as Gangsta was on the path to get an ace, but they actually popped Hunter's Fury at the same exact time. I was wondering if I was hearing double in the audio for some reason, but it was in fact just Gangsta and Sinatra, or sorry, not Sinatra, Shazam, trying to mirror each other. And I think only one ended up with the frag. I believe it was Shazam on that Hunter's Fury. But 4-2 the scoreline. We are, of course, at the half of that first half. And Immortals, they don't have the weaponry to buy, so they'll be on the eco, of course.
Yeah, so as they go on the eco, that barrier is about to come down too, and you see them are trying to work for this control towards this hookah early into the round. but they're not really wanting to make so much noise yet because they know how aggressive Sinatra could be. Let's now go for that double peek, and it works out at least for that trade.
You know what I like about the Sentinels roster? They swing together, they die together. Unfortunately, that's not really the case when Dapper doesn't die. But at the very least, he's trying to get the refrags there and maybe even a little more. Now you're even seeing Sick here too. They end up getting the res. Shockbolt trying to make it difficult. The smokes go down. Kohler's there from the other side, but nobody jumps out. They're still trying to fight for control here. Sinatra goes for round 2, but he's taken out with a 1-2 punch. And now it's just down to Kohler with the Sheriff. And he's back in behind the elbow. The Sheriff in a dream.
At least he has a spike. So actually, we're walking back here towards that spawn side. Oh, Shazam was waiting for him. Gets the pick. He falls down. And slowly but surely, Sentinels are slowly edging away here from this lead versus the Immortals at this point. I saw an Omen come out, Odin rather come out, but that was probably by accident at that point. And thankfully here on a game like Valorant, you could actually right-click to resell your weapon and get what you need.
You know, I don't think it was by accident. He may just be toying with us, you know, giving us a little sneak preview of what he's going to do on the attack, because that's really where he likes to use the Odin a lot more, quite honestly. And so, so far, not going to be the case. Sticking to that Phantom Recon Bolt. He gets an early jump through the portal, just trying to get a couple of those early shots in. But it's Kohler back up to full. Here comes Asuna. It's a face full of rocket here for Dapper. And now Shazam with the quick shot. Can't connect, but he gets involved. Gangsta, though, will be his downfall. And now here comes the retake as the Immortals have control of the site.
And now an Orbital trying to come down too. You have a big flank coming from Sinatra at the same time as well. This is not going to look pretty here for the Immortals as Zom does get the kill onto Asuna. So if even up on a 3 versus 4 rather, now make that a 4 versus 2. The spike finally has been planted. Zom is still stuck inside the spawn. Even location revealed there from that recon bolt. So that is going to be the call, possibly to just hold down towards that spawn, unless Sick can get a kill, but he doesn't. So at this point now, impossible dream moving forward here for Zoms. He's even going to let himself get spotted for the other guys to just shoot him down.
It's one of those rounds where there's almost no point of saving since your economy, like Shazam and Zoms are at 9K, okay? You guys are okay. You guys are fine. You know, it's when you start losing round after round that things get a little scary, of course. But like you said earlier on, they've got the economy to really stay afloat. If they lose this, it's 2,900 in their pocket. If they win, it's 3,000, of course. So they're not really too worried. And so you don't really need to save in that matter unless you're really being super frugal. But if there's one thing I know about the Sentinels is that they would rather die than save a weapon.
Once again, we're attempting towards this B-Long. It seems as though it's a repeating history for the Immortals, and it hasn't really worked yet. The other time we had actually Sinatra jump through the teleporter, and it was a perfect bait for them to get the second kill down towards that B, and they forced that res early on the attacker side. But now the orbital strike's going to come down early towards this B. A rocket to come out, two from a sabotage rather, and Asuna gets two as an opener. Neural Theft to come down as well. All 3 players now spotted. At this point, you are saving your weapons.
Listen, when Asuna does stuff like that, it makes Fortnite players want to come to this game. It looks so athletic. It looks so cool. Just soaring through the air and you dome someone in the head. It looks amazing. But what that does mean for the Sentinels, however, is that they're stuck in a 3v5, and it does look like they may not want to contest. Sick playing really far back. Shazam looking for exits with the op, but how often are you going to see Immortals push into an area that they haven't scouted out earlier on? So it's pretty obvious that they'll funnel back in through B-Long, keep things safe, and the rest of the Sentinels will keep their weaponry as their economy is starting to dwindle down round after round.
Yeah, and especially that the round was a heavy investment coming in for the Immortals too, because it took a while for them to actually get some rounds going on here in this first half after losing, like 5 rounds in a row. So at this point, you want to fall back with everybody alive still so the economy can move on into the last 3 rounds of the half. So very well done here at this point. And there you go. Yeah, they did lose 5 rounds in a row. That gave a chance here for one more to try to catch up into this point of the first half.
So 3 rounds remain, and then we swap over to the half. And based on the pulse of this match is that regardless of a map being defender or attacker sided, these 2 teams are just relatively evenly matched. You know, they're going head to head, they're butting heads round after round. It goes Immortals, it goes Sentinels, it goes Immortals, it goes Sentinels. So we'll see how we'll play it by ear. We'll see how these halves swap and who kind of has the better half. And for the start of Sentinels, they had 5 rounds in a row, but it's now Immortals slowly catching back up.
And now that we're finally switching things over here for the Immortals. Couple of times here, Thief was lurking towards the showers and he got picked off, but this time they're actually going for a double workout towards the shower side. And now as they spot nobody rather, and they're moving in towards short A and they haven't spotted anybody either again, we're actually walking back towards B. It seems as though they really want to work this B side for the Immortals. How many times have we seen A? I think maybe once when we had the spike plan towards Tetris, and that was it, right? So at this point now, Asuna is going to be at the point to try to open up inside Hookah again.
Yeah, and I like this utility used from Dapper. He has a lot of his utility set up towards A, and then the rotate back over towards B, and he's going to take out Asuna, who tries to get a little athletic once again. Shazam from behind makes it sting with the operator, and it's all down to one final player. Gangsta, who's got a dragon in his hand and looking to breathe some fire. He's got to walk through the obstacle course of death. Shock bolts being thrown at his way, and it's Dapper to seal the deal on his fate. A beautiful 3K for him and a 6-4 scoreline for the Sentinels.
Yeah, Shazam not missing his shots, at least on that hold and that B side. I mean, they didn't have that much of an execution going in. They wanted to go for the surprise factor for the Immortals with the Sato charge entry from the rays of Asuna. It worked before because he had that mid-air headshot when he came out. I think that was onto Sinatra, right? Under that window. I could be wrong. But at this point now, they wanted to do the same thing, but immediately got punished out of that. And surprisingly enough, too, at this point now, usually you could see a double operator setup for the defender side for the Sentinels with Dapper moving it up with Shazam. But they've really kept it as one operator so far for their side because it's been working. They didn't need to go into that type of recurring strategy.
Oh, wow. Sinatra, he just loves the use of the portals. He may be the only person I've seen use it consistently. He'll use the portal, he'll use connector. Okay, I get it. It was run it back as a cheap use, like of course he's gonna use it. But he gets a frag, and now it's a 4v5. Gangsta evens it out though with the read on the Hunter's Fury onto the opposite Sova, and now Thief finding Dapper opens up the B site.
That's right, that's the operator down 2. They opened up the B side. They're moving in right now. The spike looking to get planted, but Sinatra has already rotated towards the elbow. Nice mauling on the ground, so he'll never walk through this one. Should be an easy plant coming in for the Immortals as he's waiting for Zoms. Speaking of Sinatra, to rotate. It's only those 2 right now in this 11th round of the first half. Operator now picked up 2 at this point, and you can see Sinatra just ringing some shots and already falling back towards that spawn, and I think they might want to move together to try to save these weapons, unless they get kills immediately here. Pre-fired shots, and they do. First one to land onto Pure. 2 versus 2 now, or 3 versus 2, sorry. My overlay's a little bit broken. And they're gonna try to move in. They get the frag onto Kohler as well. That clock is still ticking on that spike. They have one towards the Octagon and one towards Luka here for the Immortal. Jumping through close range. Steve wins the fight. Please pull up. Psalms is sticking it. Then gets off and gets the kill, but didn't get it halfway, unfortunately there.
No.
So that's not gonna be enough time for the defuse, and it's gonna be the Immortals to take it.
I love that retake, and you see it again. We saw it previously in that defuse where Zoms was like, I'm just gonna stick it, sick, you go ahead and you deal with the 1v2, except this time it was Zoms again, but he was paired up with Sinatra, who was confident enough. But when you're at close range with the operator, there's only so much that you can do. I wonder if he doubled back and grabbed the Phantom, if they would have been able to tag team it there. But still, I love the gusto from this team because they just play so aggressive and they're in it to win it.
At least he didn't get the defuse, but he got the teabag before he died, right? So just to add a little bit salt to injury, salt to the wound, and to say, look, you guys got this round. It's not over yet. We're still up ahead by 2, for 1 map, as 2 kills rather into this round. Sinatra gets 2.
Who is this man? Where did he come from? Okay, I know where he came from, but I'm so thoroughly impressed with his ability to dismantle top 10 teams in NA. We're seeing Dapper here. He finds a couple of shots. I have a feeling we may be looking at some of our new kings of NA.
We'll see. I think new kings of NA is kind of soon. We still got to see them fight against TSM quite a few times before. But at least Zoms and Sick are able to seal the deal with a flawless 7-5. But when we're looking at this tournament so far, I mean, it's looking good for Cloud9 having to upset against TSM. And then you see how the Sentinels are doing so far. We know how T1, where they were at the T1 versus T1X Nursery Gamer Showdown. It could be anybody still on that North American #1 spot. Very close behind TSM.
Well, TSM's out. So
yeah, for sure. But you can't discredit them for all the other events that they've won.
Yes. I forget where I heard this, but it does feel like there's a little bit of rock paper scissors. Like at the T1 showdown, Code 7 took T1 really close. T1 was still able to take it 2-1, but we saw Code 7 get, you know, they gotta hand it to them.
Yeah,
they gotta hand it to them. Okay, they gotta hand it to them. So there's a little bit of playstyle variety across teams, and so. You're right. I'd love to see Sentinels play against the more teams, but so far it has been an absolute joy. And that joy is in the form of Sinatra. He just drive peaks, he gets aggressive, he gets involved, and he ends up with 1, with 2, sometimes none, but usually 1 or 2.
That's right, and even exciting is just this series. To be able to witness this best out of 3 that continues to stay close here between the Sentinels and the Immortals. We're just in for a treat now. We're continuing the treat. Actually, it's a never-ending bottomless cake that we're eating, and we're having so fun getting fat eating it. Now the wall's going to come up, and we have a bunch of smokes happening too. I love this execution, actually. It's a full wall, so you can't see from heaven, you can't see from you can't see from anything. You have to push through the smokes, and Asuna gets picked off there by Zong.
Wow. He actually is going to find 2. They'll get that spike down, and it's up to Immortals now to push back in, and they're going to be faced with a world of hurt. Only Bjor ends up with a frag onto Sick, but at this point, it may be too little too late. Of course, it is going to be 1 kill for him. Heals himself back up to full, and now he can still re-peak this. That is a visual bug, of course. It is not another teammate that is hiding behind enemy lines. It was still 3 members. Yeah, no, it was just a visual bug. It was still the 3v1. Yeah. But a great round from the Sentinels, and that'll open their pistol up. They'll force up here and potentially extend themselves to a 4-round lead, which is huge because they want to close out this map and move on to the semis tomorrow.
Yeah, so as I was saying, like that execution that they had towards that A side for the attackers, the Sentinels, was just beautiful. Because putting that wall towards the U on a pistol round, I keep saying it, but I'll keep on saying it. The Sage wall on pistol is so good because it takes so much time to actually shoot it down with your pistols. You have to knife it out. And if you shoot it or do the knife, you get the audible knowing that somebody's towards you, but it still gives you enough time to focus to get the spike plan towards the APC. And because you have the line of smokes from the Tetris side, all you need to focus on is run through smokes and the showers, and they already had 3 guys there to pretty much watch it. So a great round there, great execution on the pistol, and shark darts at least to start here from Gangsta, but unfortunately, Kohler loses the fight to Shazam.
Yeah, and he's a pretty important member on the Immortals roster. Of course, they're still 4 strong, so they can turn things back around, but it's the anti-eco for them. They don't have weaponry. It is the opposition that are pushing in, guns blazing. Gangsta going to be one of the members on the site, but he gets taken out very quickly by Sick. It's the spike being planted. Bjork trying to get involved here, and he's already past the Tetris, looking to make a line and take it all out, but it's pretty deep in for him as Sick will just blindly shoot through the smoke, ride his coattails, and take him out. Now it's all down to Thief, and he's got a shorty. But on the other side are 5 Sentinels members ready to take him down.
Yeah, Pure as the frenzy was on a mission to try to get that Phoenix that was down to about 10 HP only of Sinatra. And at that point, when he went through the smokes, he actually elbowed the other Sage on the other side of Sick, and that's how Sick was like, oh my god, watch out, Sinatra. And spamming through it as well and finally saved him. But at that point, what is more important is that Sentinels are able to get that second round. Nothing really coming through for the eco there for the Immortals team. And into this round, it's going to be a nice upgrade for them here on this defense. But on the attackers, it's a bonus round.
I like how Sentinels fight for orb control. You know, that's something that I'm finding is very consistent. And you're seeing Immortals, they're actually trying to adapt to it. 2 towards Showers, 2 towards Belong. And it's the Sentinels that have the same exact setup. Immortals giving a little bit more control, but little do they know it's Sinatra who's poking his head through and is being leaded by the Owl Drone. Looking at Dapper's perspective, though, he's trying to see who's in the site. He'll lose his life, and it's Bjor as well to follow up with a frag onto Sick.
Yeah, and they even left the spike down towards that fountain side, so they push down, they can actually see that. Actually, yeah, it's being pinged. So Thief pinged it, and it's like, yo, the spike is over here. The rotate's coming across already. He's trying to get the first shot. Nice Frost Orb on the ground, actually. That prevents Shazam from moving forward. They even let a Cyber Cage down just in case they lose the control of that spike. Camera to come out at the, or sorry, it's a Recon Arrow to come out at the start, but Thief still wins that fight against Shazam.
Yeah, now down to the 2v5, and Immortals members are starting to triangulate onto the position. They've got themselves a double man peek there, and they're up on the racks on the side. Bjor will take him out. Sinatra, the last one standing, 33 HP left to his name, and it's Immortals. I know. No, they don't necessarily know exactly where he is, but they smell that something's cooking. Sinatra just trying to hold on to the Spectre. Will he end up peeking? Oh, here he comes. And it's just the breakable box. Bjor seals his fate with the penetration, and it's Immortals starting to climb back.
Yeah, and I thought that they knew that he was actually hiding there, because when they were spraying through that box, he was actually getting hit all the way down to 30%, and it was actually a kill coming in from the spawn side that kind of saved him. If not, they would have kept spraying it, and he would have died. Yes, the fate was still the same. It took a little bit longer, but at that point, if they were able to win that second or third fight there towards that boulder, we could have turned things around there for the Sentinel side. But nonetheless, it was still a great round coming through. A little bit of a mistake for the Sentinels to push forward with that with the spike earlier on towards that B side, and that sealed their demise. But going into this one, they still have money to work with because they didn't go for an upgrade on that previous round.
Okay, so let's talk about the Pulse here. They're not fighting for B-long control of the orb, so that means that Thief can push in and start to scout things out. They've already executed on towards A. The wall is up in U-Haul, but it's Kohler that is there to mow him down from the side. Sinatra will be the one that gets the refrag, but look at this. Thief already there as Kohler sets up an orbital strike and is in the open arms of Zom. Kohler actually answers back. What is happening? Shazam and Zom, they will also try to find some frags of their own. And a crazy round, but Immortals gets the better of the Sentinel.
Kohler answered from the grave, and that single spot at that closet outside the showers was never spotted, and he basically landed all of his shots long range to everybody trying to push forward from that short A, landing his shots. We talked about him. We basically blew him up. We tooted his horn on that first map, how good he was. And there you go. He comes in with a 4K into the round. Even on top of that, wasted the res going in from Sentinel's side.
You know, I think this is a very important tournament for Thief. He's, of course, a new stand-in for the Immortals, and for him it would mean the world if they take this to map number 3, sorry, and take it all the way home to take them to the semifinals. Of course, the Sentinels, this is an important tournament for them too. They want to start to earn their place in the top 5, and so both teams are fighting for the right to be at the top of the NA throne, and it's going very neck and neck between these two teams.
Satchel charges as the Sage is stuck inside that corner. Six is trying to fall back, able to do so finally. And actually, he even uses heal on top of that, too. You see it's on a cooldown at 24 seconds. He only has 40, so the rest of them are not trying to book it towards this A side. It is pretty much an eco going on for them at the same time, too. But Kohler's in a position once again at that U. But a Cyber Cage is actually up. That screens his vision. He still manages to get the headshot onto Dapper. Are we at least going to be able to get the spike? Yes, we will. Mission accomplished as Kohler gets the second one here into the round.
No. You hate to see it. They were just able to have every single angle covered. The setup was great from Immortals to hold on to that site, or at least try to take it back. For the side of the Sentinels, they're looking at a full buy in the round to come. They will have some weaponry, and it's Shazam going to be purchasing himself an operator, looking to do some damage from a distance. And already starting to set up, with what looks like towards B-long. They changed their mind, dropped that spike, and now it's going to be Shazam looking down the showers.
Yeah, and I think the difference here of how you're seeing Sentinels trying to take control of this long B, when they actually group up and they try to work that area, they still have some presence towards A, but not only one player lurking. They actually have 2-3 players playing there, which means they're okay with not taking early control of Hookah at the beginning of the round.
See Sick here. Very tall task for him as he's all alone by the fountain. Still no control from Immortals on that orb towards B-long, and it's on the opposite side that Sentinels are working their way forward. A lot of tripwires set up. Shazam, don't think he catches that one with the Owl drone and still going to continue to push forward. Doesn't find anybody, and it's funny enough, Kohler in the same exact position as before, waiting for the push-in, and it's that exact angle that netted him multiple kills in previous takes on this map. Sick, gonna find one onto Bjor. That might open up the B site. They've left it completely open, and it's Steve lurking around trying to find some frags.
Yeah, they're looking. They didn't know if a second player came out, so Sick looked out there, but the timing's perfect here for Thief. He could get a perfect backstab here onto Dapper as well, as they're about to bump chest.
Oh!
He hears the footstep. This is going to be so huge. There is going to be a trap wire, but meanwhile, Gangsta does get the Hunter's Fury. Now he shoots a little bit too early, but we know the commitment is coming inside this A side. At least it was a spike that died early with Sick as well. Both Sagers are actually down. We're trying to get the spike plant, and we do finally.
Oh, this is a great nade from Asuna. He's going to try to take it out, but it's the Molly looking to burn them alive to a crisp in the vent. They'll back away. Now potentially looking towards heaven, waiting for that smoke to subside. A shot misses. Kohler grazes him by the cheek from Shazam. They still need to push in. That spike's ticking. Asuna going to take out the first. It's going to be the run it back from Sinatra, looking for a couple of frags, still held up in the showers. They're going to clear out U-Haul. Shazam with one, now backing away, looking towards another angle. Shazam with a second, back into U-Haul. Gets taken out by Gangsta, and now it's the 2v2. Still going to be Dapper on the opposite side. He pushes up, it's Gangsta that gets shot from behind. Sinatra with one, Sinatra with two, putting us at 10-8.
Yeah, I like the play there from Sinatra as well with the running back. Not only does he get the information too, but knowing where they all are, he calls it out for Shazam. Okay, we have a couple of guys rotating from the pipe. Even on top of that too, it was actually Zoms, right, that was playing right by the pipe side on the pulse plant situation, and he actually put that molly down. So there was plenty of information already to not give Sinatra the opportunity or not give him the need to come out to trade with his team. So he just held out towards the showers as long as he could. As soon as his teammates started falling down in a 2 versus 2, you play the crossfire setup. He baited his teammate towards that cubby of the A side, but he still swept up the 2 kills for that. So great teamwork for that Sinatra play.
Yeah, and that has to be off the back of great communication, and we're seeing that from Sentinels. They push up and gather inches on all sides of the map. They get okay, that was okay, Dapper. Okay, we'll forget that. We'll forget that ever happened. Get your camera back. Hopefully get a new camera in place. But back to the Sentinels. I really think that their communication is so key to their success as they push multiple fronts and leave Immortals guessing where they're going to end up going, and that is key into playing the attacker side.
Yeah, now it's going to be them right now for the attacker side of Sentinels. Trying to lurk a bit towards the showers, but we do have Sinatra that's spotted here by a recon dart. Smokes is coming down from Kohler. He's 1 kill away from an orbital strike, and he's trying to peek out right after that. I don't think the Owl Drone saw that much information as Kohler killed it early, but he's going for the molly first, and you already have Sinatra down to 26, and a collateral coming in from Asuna.
Yeah, that's going to be rough. Zoms will find their one on the refrag. You'll end up taking Asuna, but I like this connector play. 2 funnel through. It's still going to be Zoms off the back, making the long way around. And it's going to be Shazam. Does not check his corners, and that'll be the end of him. Thief getting a pretty easy to land headshot onto the infiltrating Sova. Dapper will answer back with some shots of his own, and now it's just down to Zoms. 8 seconds left on the clock. He's going to save the weaponry, but Immortals hot on the tail of the Sentinels, putting it between 1 round.
Yeah, 1 round away again, though. We still have Sentinels with 1 map ahead in this best out of 3. This is also the Immortals map pick, so they need to really bring this to this victory so that they can go into the tiebreaker. And the tiebreaker is going to be split if that is needed to be played. And that will have Sentinels on the defense to start things off on that map, too. So it's going to be a tough beat so far in this whole series for the Immortals, but they're up for this challenge.
Yeah, and Split, I don't feel, is a map that both teams are quite known for. They're known for their ability to play Haven, their ability to play Blind and Ascent. Bind and Ascent. But Split, we haven't really seen too much out of Immortals and Sentinels on that map, so it'll be a pleasure to see them bring it to the forefront and see what fresh strategies they have developed over the course of time to look. But have a look. It's the economy round for the Sentinels, not really having the weaponry to play. So they're going to be just trying to get a couple of frags and maybe make it expensive for the Immortals, because we are getting near the end, and so they want to make every round count as much as possible.
And this is where it's going to be super good here for the Immortals. They get this win versus the Pistols. It's tied 10-10. The big test is going to be into round number 21. As a Cyber Cage comes up here on Thief's side, and he's looking to fall back because I think he wasted both of them right now, waiting for the angle by the window, and they're actually walking into, the timing's off, but at least he has support there from the Sage. So Fury's there with him, and now they peek out long range. There you go. They did have another kill. Orbital trying to come out though. They're jumping out at the same time, and Dapper does get the kill. And now the Hunter's Fury to come out as well from Shazam. So Asuna comes in with a showstopper at least to trade it back. So we do have 3 alive for both sides, as Sinatra has made it inside that B site. Kohler under rotation, but it's traded off by Shazam. So a 2 versus 2, Orbital strike up, at least this time, on the defenders. They cancel the flash. Don't shift the corner. Sinatra gets the kill. Then Gangsta makes it a 1 versus 1. 33 HP remaining, 15 seconds left on the clock, a full HP of Shazam, and he has no clue where Gangsta's at. Making a lot of noise so far.
Oh no.
And here comes the plan. He's sticking it, and Gangsta will get the kill before the plan.
That was so close. You talk about... Okay, Gangsta, let's leave the English breakfast till after the match, okay? We can drink tea all we want, just not right now. Now's not a good time, but that was an expensive round for Immortals. They lost every single member except Gangsta, so you can expect, yes, it's the force up here for the Sentinels, but Immortals, if we have a look at their economy, I'm going to take a guess that it's in tatters. They don't really have the... They might have the weaponry, but they might not have the credits moving forward.
My eyes.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you looked at that previous round. It was a save round going through it, and pretty much all of the ultimates were used. The only thing we have up right now is 1 neural theft for each of these teams. And it starts off now with Sinatra and company of the Sentinels team looking to get control of the orb so they can bring it up for Sinatra for the run it back.
Ooh, we're getting close. 4 rounds remain till we get to that overtime match. We may not even need it. And I feel like this may be one of the deciding rounds that may push us forward. Asuna already opening up with a frag onto Stick. Sinatra using run it back. There's Kohler in the corner, but nobody puts Kohler in the corner. He's going to find out. 1 onto the run it back. Thief will trade one out onto Dapper. Shazam will end up taking out Kohler, and it's still the spike down. They need to get it planted, but there's only 3 members left for Sentinels.
Yeah, and Thief is the one that's trying to get this information, but Shazam lands that shot with that operator. He also picked up the spike so they could fall back and rotate to B if they want to, because he's right next to that teleporter. But his teammates are still behind here on short A at Showers. He can't really run on his own, so they're just going to run that timeout and then commit as a team, possibly with the last few seconds to go in for a plant.
Oh, but Bjor, he doesn't look into Cubby. Asuna gonna find one. It's a great shot from Shazam. Sick, not really confident to re-peek that corner, but still, Shazam stepped on that blast pack, actually took it like a champion, and now he's gonna get that spike down, but it's still Bjor. He's trying to peek the corner. Zoms with the pre-fire shots, and it's going to be his teammate on the other side, Gangsta, and it's Shazam almost there with the ace. But, doesn't opt in to go towards U-Haul. Back to the 1v1. We saw this last round. Will we see it against Shazam? Now he's going to be looking in the right direction, trying to figure out where is Gangsta. The spike is ticking, and he's got time. But now that he hears the defuse, he might even just use Hunter's Fury here to try to take him out. But Gangsta, he might commit, and the shot's good! And it's an ace from Shazam.
Another $10 dono that I had to give to United Way of New York. But you gotta love it. Shazam with the clutch, getting that ace on top of that. A slow play from the Sentinels. Like I said, they wanted to play the clock. Or it was going to be Immortals making the mistake and peeking first, which sort of did. Or they go for a last-minute execution and pray for the best. And it was the latter that paid off here for... Or the earlier, actually, scenario that paid off here for the Sentinels, as Shazam was able to get that pickoff onto Asuna and give them a chance here to move back in the lead, rather.
You know, even if Immortals ends up losing this best of 3, look how close it is, man, Silly. These 2 teams are, I mean, I would almost even say they're quite close in skill level. They're quite close in their executes. Sentinels have an answer for Immortals and vice versa. And we're seeing it here live at the Pulse Invitational. Nearing the end of the second half, and potentially the end for Immortals here from the tournament. Dapper with the Spectre looking like a force up here for some of the Sentinels players, and Kohler with the Sheriff tells me a lot about their economic position.
Definitely. So the smoke's going to come down, preventing here Zoms and Sinatra from moving through the smoke to play in the unknown to try to get this orb again. Shazam still has that Hunter's Fury from that previous round, but at least here for the attackers, they have 2 more to work with them. They have the Sage Res, they have a Neural Theft. For the defenders, they have 2 on their own, and it's Gangsta that opens it up, and we're going to use the Res right away at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, the Hunter's Fury are going to try to make that a little bit more expensive as that Resurrection already goes to waste. Shazam, and he almost finds that second person. Kohler with the Sheriff makes it sing, and Thief. Oh no, we this time and time again. He comes in from behind. The shot's good, but it's already Dapper on the sprint over towards the B site. He's got an operator in a classic, and not a whole lot of time to get that spike now.
Yeah, he's actually giving our planet safe, well, sort of safe towards the back of the site because he heard the teleporter coming in from the Hookah area. But then as soon as he peeks out from the back of the box, Gangsta is waiting there. So we kind of switched it over. We have Gangsta operating instead of Yor on the top of that heaven side. He played it inside the site, got those picks. The defuse will come through as well, and it's going to be tied 11-11. They're just calling for the teammates to move forward so that we have the Cypher that's going to be able to come up and pick up the gun here. Thief thanks them, and it's now 11-11.
Oh, we're getting close. We could go to overtime again. It's possible here. It's very, very possible. But I have to say, I've been talking a whole lot about Sinatra. I sound like a Sentinels fanboy, and I can only imagine the emotes that are being spammed. But Kohler finds 2 with the Sheriff as he goes deep in the paint, in the showers. We didn't get to catch that on because there was just so much going on. We didn't get to catch that, but those 2 kills crucially open up the round for Immortals, allow a much tighter defense that the Sentinels have to use more utility and, in fact, their own resource, their HP, to try to push forward. So a great eco from Immortals, even though Gangsta had an operator.
Simo, it's okay, dude. The chat's calling me the TSM fanboy, anyways. So we're allowed to be fans of the game. We're allowed to be fans of good gameplay too, and I like to see that from TSM. But I also like to see just in general how good the team play is in Valorant, and we definitely see it in this matchup now. As Asuna peeks out, gets the first kill onto Sick, on the way to retake the lead now for the Immortals as the spike has been dropped towards the Octagon. Boombot moving forward, giving one position away, and boom goes Sinatra. Asuna captures it with a 3rd kill onto Dapper inside Hookah. Make that a 4th, looking for the ace. It's been denied. Shazam now, retaliated by Kohler, and we do have map point for the Immortals in the second map.
Okay, Vansily. I mean, we're going to get a chance to take a breather after this map because I am already starting to run out of air, run out of steam. The team that is not running out of steam anytime soon, it's the Sentinels. This is the win or lose situation for them. If they don't win this round, they can't take it to OT, and we're going to map number 3 on a map that we saw a whole lot of yesterday. So we'll be quite experienced on that map, of course, but Sentinels, they've got weapons. Does not look like the greatest weapons. Zoms, and I believe one other player had a Bulldog, so let's see what they're capable of doing here. Bjor with the early ult point, and he's got the resurrection. This is one of those things where I wonder if teams are going to start paying attention to ult points and how many someone has, because I feel like that could have been telegraphed that they might have went for control to get another resurrection, right? Like, you can see that he's got 6 out of 7. You just look at the scoreboard. But again, it's a point that goes their way, and Immortals, not to mention about ults, they've got 4 on the table ready to go.
So Sick following behind Shazam's Owl Drone to try to see if they could spot somebody inside that site. They do spot the Cypher at the bottom of the window, so they will be able to see Thief. Boombot to move forward, but it doesn't go straight into the Octagon, unfortunately. So Sick is in a good position to continue to see if Thief is going to go for a wide swing from that area. Even a shock dart to get him out of position too. That's a bait play, but Thief decides to go inside the Hookah. So they're pinning him right now. They're really trying to narrow down and get this frag as Dapper is slowly moving in.
Oh, I like this camera from Thief. You know, early days in the beta, we saw some very spicy cameras that were not legal. They'd find their way up in the ceiling, but this one, very interesting from Thief, just to get some angle. And they're he's gonna see 2. Unfortunately, he's afraid. Asuna in a very difficult position, has to dodge the Hunter's Fury, and it's the showstopper to dunk onto Dapper. And now it's the 3v3. Spike is down, and it's Sentinels trying to push in. Pure gonna stop it. The spray's good, almost gets taken out, and it's down to the 3v2. Sentinels have the spike, but will they get it down?
Have a res too, so it's going to soon be a 4 for the Immortals as Asuna's going to come up, pushing through the smoke. Zoms gets 3 kills with the Bulldog just like that. It is. The tides have been turned. We're looking to sudden death overtime right now. 1 more to go here for the Immortals, and it is going to be Gangsta with the operator looking to clutch this right now. We are playing the time. They have an orbital strike, so Gangsta cannot play the time. He has to move quick to at least tap onto the spike. If not, it is GG. Game over. We're going into sudden death. So he taps it now. Orbital strike to come out. No peek coming through as well. It's a pre-fired shot. And now there's no time left pretty much. He's even going to save his op into sudden death.
Oh my goodness.
I think he forgot.
All right.
I think he forgot.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It happens. Okay, that's why Zombs was like, yeah, I'll be okay. I'll get taken out. Overtime, Vansili, overtime. I cannot believe we got to this point, and here we are again. We were in overtime last map, and we're overtime again. If it goes to map 3, will we go to overtime on Split? I have no idea, but what I do know is that if Sentinels win this, Immortals are out of the tournament. And Immortals definitely don't want that to happen. Gonna assume they may be in the chat, trying to get some Immortal spams going. I appreciate it. I like the gusto, but Sentinels, let's see the setup. 2 towards B, 3 towards A, looking for shower control of the orb, and it's Immortals not really looking for that long B orb this time around. Let's see how this next round unfolds.
Big shout out to T1 Foods saying, you know what, he was saving for the stats. Could make sense. Top fragger right now for the Immortals. And he's going glass cannon operator here into the sudden death round for the Immortals. Kohler trying to take control of the showers. He spoked it up early, but he's actually not going to go contest for that orb first because definitely you don't want to give any sound cues away and you don't want to be the first one to die in the sudden death.
Tuna saw some amazing plays from him earlier on in this map. You may see, you thought I was going to say the tournament. You thought I was like, in this map. The man is an animal, and he was not looking to be tamed anytime soon. Sentinels still have their standard setup, have swapped one over towards B. Still the information game for them, and that information has come up zilch. And it's Sinatra looking for an opportunity. What can he lead the team to do? As they're now starting to crowd around towards A, and it's the call from Immortals to pull off. It's, oof. It's the call here from Bjor, but he goes back, and now it's the 3-2 split on A and B. Here comes the take. Sentinel, they're ready.
That's right, the bolts are coming down. The wall is going to come up too, so we're seeing that same strat that they had towards that pistol round. Recon dart to come down, Molly on the ground as well, and the spike is down! But 2 kills simultaneously coming in favor of the Sentinels. They do have that 1-minute advantage. Spike has now been picked up. It's looking to get planted towards Tetris. Gangsta waiting towards that heaven side. There is one. Oh, the spray comes across. It gets at a halfway HP only as Beef is trying to spray for his life through that. Now he's getting pushed here with 2 players inside you. It is looking grim. A 4-on-2 situation in favor of the Sentinels. Looking to close within 2 maps. Gangsta the last one to go. He does get the first shock dart. Oh, wallbang does not connect. But now they're peeking, they're spraying, and he's stuck on his lonesome at the heaven side. It is looking so dire right now on this retake for Gangsta as they walk through the place. Sinatra is waiting right under heaven. This could be it, Simo. This could be over right here.
Yeah, in a great position from Sinatra. All he needs to do is step back, and it's Sentinels that move on to the semifinals. Immortals, they will unfortunately fall after 2 back-to-back overtime matches. Vansili, I don't think words can describe this best of 3.